everybody! I'm Pierre Luna, and I play games on the internet. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by, and if you've been here before, welcome back! Today we're doing something very, very different than usual. I've been practicing for a whole month, trying to make hands. I'm gonna do it, you all. I'm gonna do it this time. I believe in myself. I got all the crochet stuff set up and everything. Aquarium staff was like, what are you doing? You're going to be out of the water. And I was like, I'm going to make hands. And they were like, that's not a real thing that octopi can do. What are you thinking? You're crazy. It'll never work. So we're going to prove them wrong. We're going to do it. You'll see. You'll see. You'll all see. Okay. So. It is also my birthday. The best day. I'm even got my brand new mic up and running. I'm very excited. It's very exciting. You'll all have to let me know how it is, because I can't tell the difference between them very well, but I like this one. It's working good, I think. I hope. Oh, good. Crisp it is. Okay. All right. Welcome in, Ying Yang Lord. I see you in the comments on my YouTube videos. Welcome to What It's Like Live. It's an adventure. Yes, it is more high-pitched. It's very excited to be here. We're very excited to be here. All right. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. Hi, Val. Hi, Anya. Hi, Sleepy Tea Stars. Oh, hi, Miso. Sorry about ad jail. It'll happen sometimes. Okay, there's everybody. Yes, Val, I saw your Annabelle drawing. Very good. I don't even know if you've met Annabelle yet, but it's going to be so good. Oh, no. I'm glad you're enjoying the Sam and Max games. I really love them. They're a lot of fun. For just a second, hearing two of me must have been weird. Yeah, Tumblr will Tumblr you, Val. That's true. True facts. All right. Let's see if we can do this. We're going to make hands. I believe in myself. Okay. Now, I will say I have so much respect for people who have to do lighting, because it was very difficult to even get this far. I tried my best. But we're going to teach you all to crochet. It's going to be great. Don't you worry. It's going to be so cool. Okay. I got to do the thing. We're going to do the thing. It's going to be great, guys. It's going to be great. Okay. And... Okay. Ta-da! I did it! Oh, gotta take that off. We can't have decoration while we do this. Wah! Hi, Red! Yes! Happy birthday! It's glitter time! We got hands! Sometimes my hands are going to be out of view because they're new and difficult and weird. But we got them! Okay, so... I love that sparkle. So, we're going to teach you all how to crochet. It's going to be exciting. These are those squishy things, what you squish good. It's from the Hello Kitty X Pusheen crossover. And this is an example of what we're going to make today. She's a little Dumbo octopus. Wah! She's very cute. Evolution at its finest. Yeah, exactly. It's like Mega Evolution. This isn't going to stay forever. Don't worry. Anyway, this is technically a pencil case, but I really like it for holding crochet hooks because it works really, really well. And you can just kind of roll them out like that. I love it a lot. This is also a hook case, which is completely accurate. This hook's a little bit different. Oh, I forgot to zip that back up. I actually need my stitch marker from that. This case is a little bit different. It's got a bunch of fun things in here, like foldable scissors, and this thing lights up. Might be hard to see on camera. No, it's not. This is also secretly a crochet hook. It just didn't show up good on camera, and I have a hard time holding it the way I like to hold it. So, yeah, get back in there. Get on in there. Oh yeah, you guys probably want to see the foldable scissors because they're cool. These are scissors. You just kind of pull them. We good? Are we good? Yeah. You pull them, boom, scissors. They're not too bad. Like, they're sharp enough, so they work out. And all the other things you need for yarn and crochet are in there. Stitch markers. This is a stitch counter or a row counter, depending on what you're doing with it and what you need it to do. Oh, wrong way. So you can count off your stitches, which I don't need, but is super helpful. You can even just jam it on the top of your hook. That's what the holes in it are for. Those are for knitting. They're for holding your stitch thingies. I am not a knitter. Technology is wild. Yarn and ladies. Yes, it's true. The two best things. All right. Now, we're going to crochet, and it's going to be really cool. I'm going to use yellow today because yellow is what shows up best on camera, especially with this hook. If you guys are crocheting along with me, this hook is a 3.5 millimeter or an E. If you're in the States, because America is so resistant to measuring with like actual numbers, which is fair, I guess, because y'all would be measuring in imperial numbers anyway, and I'd be like, you want 1/8 of an inch what now? Okay. I guess you guys do you. Goodness gracious, one moment. Okay, so yellow's just what shows up best on camera. It's very similar to that blue of my little Octo plush. It's just metal. This yarn I've worked with quite a bit before because I like it. Now, if you guys are working along with me, for whatever reason, and you've never crocheted before in your whole gosh darned lives, we'll start with some very basic stuff. The first thing you need to know is how to make a slip knot. There are many ways to make a slip knot, but the magical way I was taught was this way. You take your yarn, you wind it around your finger twice, you take the loop in the back, you bring it over the loop in the front, and then you take that loop in the back, bring it over the loop in the front, and then you pull that up through, and boom, a slip knot. This slip knot will always go in the right direction for crochet, so that if you pull on this little tail, it'll loosen it, and if you pull on this end that's hooked up to the actual yarn ball, it'll make it tighter. You want your slip knot to be a little bit loose if you're going to start this way. I'm actually going to start with a magic ring because that's what I like to do, but I will show you how to start sort of the beginner-friendly way first. A kilometer is 1,000 meters. That's how... That's what a kilometer is. I don't know how many feet are in a mile offhand, but it's a silly number. It's like 5,286 or something. I feel like I'm missing a number in there. I feel like I have a wrong number. But like, well, hang on. There's 3 feet in a yard. There's 3 yards in a chain. There's 8 chains to a furlong? No, there's 3 chains to a furlong and 8 furlongs to a mile. Maybe? I don't know the imperial measuring system anymore. I never really did. I just thought it was fun. I am secretly magic. It's true. Trying to do American math on crochet stream is tricky, but it's all because you guys call this an E hook and it's a 3.5 millimeter hook, which is significantly easier to work out. Anyways, if you're gonna begin this in the beginner way, you're gonna chain 1. You'll probably hear it from some crocheters, but this here move is called yarn over, and then you pull through. You'll hear that a lot. Just when people are teaching you to crochet on YouTube, you'll hear yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through. Like that. And so on. I should explain one more thing too while I'm doing this, is that I also know how to do something called tatting, which is a way of making lace. It's a really fun, cool way of making lace. And it means I hold my crochet projects a little weird. Most people, when they crochet, hold their project by bringing it up over their hand like this, and they hold it between their thumb and their second finger, and they use this finger to tension. I find that really awkward and uncomfortable and difficult to sort of maneuver. So instead, I use Tatter's hand position and hold it like this. That means that my stitch tension, which is how tightly together these stitches fit, is way higher than most people's. When I do test swatches, I find that I have to like go up usually a hook size or two to get the looseness that is needed for certain patterns. Otherwise, you just get like this super tight, like you can see how tight these stitches are. Like you can physically look. There's no holes, there's no gaps, there's nothing. And that's because my stitch tension is so ridiculous. It's really good for lace making. Oh yeah, I can make lace with crochet too. That's what the smaller hooks are for, actually, now that I'm thinking of it. These little itty bitty guys. Is this the one? No, that's not the smallest one I have. This is the smallest one I have. These little itty bitty guys, who the camera is struggling to focus on the end of, are so small. Oh, come here. Are so small. It's not going to focus on it, I don't think. Or if it does, it's just going to be a point of light. This hook is 0.75 millimeters. Oh yeah, I've been crocheting since I was 10 years old. And I am not 10 years old anymore. As you might have guessed. So I have been crocheting longer than some of you have been alive. It's been a long time, but that's I suppose another thing I should mention. If you guys learn to crochet and you're having a good time with it, good. Do not compare yourselves to me. I've been doing this for so long that, like, legitimately trying to teach beginner stuff made me have to look up beginner crochet videos so I could remember what it is that people don't know. Because I don't know what y'all aren't going to know anymore. I am 10 years old in octopus years, of course. Exactly. But yes. I do I have been at this for a long, long time. Right. I'm going to show you how this is done by making it much bigger than it needs to be. Normally you'd start with a chain of like 2 and then work into that, but I'm going to start with a chain of like 7 and show you how it's done. Just so that you can see how you would start this off. So you got your chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright. I wasn't counting while I was going. You can kind of see, the way that I'm counting stitches is you count these little V's. So you can kind of see them. They're like here. You can also just count the bumps on the one side. That'll get you the same thing. The loop on your hook doesn't count. It's not real. It's not a real stitch. Anyway, if you're going to start like this, then you take this. You find a bump at the very beginning, your first stitch. Yarn over. Pull through. And then you pull through the loop on your hook. And that makes you a little circle. And what you do with that little circle is you take your tail end and you hold it sort of up against that little circle. You put your hook inside the circle. Yarn over. You pull up a loop. And then you yarn over. And you pull through 2. Like both loops, the one on your hook and the one that you pulled up. And that's a single crochet. And then you just go all the way around for however many that you need. And you can carry on like that. You can make basically anything of any size. Now, the reason that I don't do things this way, that I don't start off with this kind of thing, is because, like I said, I have a very tight stitch tension. You can see from, you can see from the top here. That is what a magic ring will get you. I find that if I work this with this method, with the chain 2 circle, it doesn't come out as tight or as clean. And especially because I make these things for like little children, sometimes I want to make sure that it comes out clean and in such a way that a child can't like pry their fingers in there, or like if they're chewing on it, stuffing won't come out, that kind of thing. Because I don't want anybody to be eating stuffing. Stuffing's no good. Not for food. Gets stuck in your radula if you try to eat it thinking it's something else. Never mind how we know that. Anyway, the other way to start these off is the magic ring. It works a little differently than your usual yarn winding tricks. You wind it around your hand. You take it over the front of your hand instead of the back. Or at least I do. You guys can do this however is comfortable for you, but I find this is easiest. You bring it around your finger. You can stop there and do a magic ring like this. I find it's more secure to do 2 loops. And secure is what I care about because, like I said, I make these things for very small children quite often. The projects that I make for me, I'm willing to put like beads and stuff on, but the things I make for little kids have to be especially secure, so I usually just make knitted details into them. Anyway, to start with a magic ring, you put your hook in under both of those loops that you made. You take from the back one so that you can tension off this. You pull that yarn through. You take again from the back one. Pull that through the loop, and then you've got a chain 1 that helps to lock this in place. Now, for this first single crochet, you want to make sure it's a little looser than you would normally see me do, because you're going to have to work back into it later. Oh, thanks, Ty! Thanks for the well wishes! Yes, do not eat stuffing. It's true. We're going to make a little octopus. Gotta get a little friend in there. I'm glad to see the folks that comment regularly on my YouTube videos coming by. Oh, I've heard check your DMs. Oh no. What have I got now? There's so much going on. Oh, there's a happy birthday card in there. How cute. So cute. Oh, you guys signed it and everything. Oh, no. Oh, that's precious. Thank you, everybody. Oh, so much cooler. Adorable. Oh. I'm so glad. Y'all are precious. Y'all are precious. The bamboo. The bamboo is perfect. 10 out of 10. Chat made me like 3-star that at least. I think it's halfway to 4 stars. Alright. Zooming right along. So when you're working like this, you want to make sure that the stitch is a little bit looser than you would normally because you're going to work back into it, and it has a habit of tightening up really tight when you pull, when you do a thing where you pull some stuff through. So you start with your single crochet, and then alright, I forgot that this yarn is a little less slippy than my usual. You carry on doing this for 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, come back, 5, and that should be 6. Now, we're going to do some magic. We're going to do some cool wizard magic. You can pull the loop out here and take the crochet hook out if you're scared that it'll fall apart. It won't, but it's okay to be scared that it will. Because what you're going to do next is you're going to find the back loop of these two. The back loop is the one that's closest to / underneath of the tail, and it's this one here. This one is the front loop, because it's kind of sticking out of the front of the project. They do cross over on the right side, over close to the hook. Don't worry about that. That doesn't matter. Thanks, Past VGC. It is my birthday. I'm glad you refunded yourself, Val. We're not playing Sploon right now. We might play some Animal Crossing, because the villagers there also know that it's my birthday. Anyway, what you want to do to close the ring is you take this back loop and you pull. You'll see that this loop in the front is starting to close up. You pull it nice and tight. And then you just pull on the tail to close the rest. If you only did one loop to do that, you can just pull on the tail. There is no back loop to find. And that's all well and good. Is this gonna... No. Just one. Hands. Hands, behave. Why is it so hard for you to behave? Okay, so back into the hand position that I like. Oh, right, speaking of hand position, you can hold your hook however is comfortable. I find it most comfortable to hold it like I'm writing, like it's a pencil. But you'll find that some people hold it like this, like a fork or a knife. Well, this is normally called like a knife hold. That hold is good for certain things. Oh, yeah. I'm streaming on YouTube and Twitch. The way that I'm doing that is with a program called Restream, or a website called Restream. They let you stream to you stream to Restream technically, but then they send it to 2 different channels. It causes a minor delay, but it lets you stream to both without using your computer's resources, which works out really, really well. Yeah, it's my birthday. I love my birthday. Anyway, this is where your stitch marker is going to come in. This thing works kind of like a safety pin, and in fact, you can use a safety pin for it. I did for a long, long time. Do I still have one over here? Nope. Oh, this is a pin cushion I made myself. You guys are probably not going to be able to see it too good. But this lace here is the first thing that the first larger thing that I sort of tatted. Yeah. It's made in the style of do you know those singing drums? The ones that you sometimes you see them in ASMR videos, sometimes you see them in cool like aesthetic videos. Yeah, you know the pads that they sit on? This is made in that style. Or it was an attempt to sort of copy that style into... Yeah, you see it though, don't you now? Yeah. One of my friends at the time was really into like she was really into, crystals, singing drums, all that kind of stuff. She was one of those people. So I made something that sort of looked like that. Because I thought they were pretty. Okay. Right, yes, knife hold is good enough for certain things. I don't find it comfortable to hold it that way. But I have had to, especially if I'm making like, sometimes I'll take flip-flops, right? And I'll take an awl and I'll put holes in the flip-flop soles. I'll take out the flip-flop part itself. And then I can crochet around the edge in those holes and make cute little crochet shoes and sandals and stuff. It's a lot of fun, and they're really cute, and it's nice to have a hard sole on them. But I find it easier to take the knife hold for that because you're kind of like sticking your crochet hook into a hole and then bringing it back out. And it's a big, thick thing to crochet around. Right, this is where your stitch marker comes in. I tend to mark the last stitch of my previous round. Most other people will mark the first stitch. So keep that in mind. If you're watching me do this, I'm a little non-traditional. Little bit. But what you do from here to continue is you can either make a slip stitch into this and then chain one and then work away with your single crochets, or you can do what I'm going to do and just work in continuous rounds. I prefer continuous rounds because I think they come out a bit cleaner. Because, like, you can't tell where I started a round and ended a round on this. But with that slip stitch, with the slip stitch method, you can see a sort of zipper pattern going all the way down the back where you start and end rounds. It can be useful depending on what you're doing. If you need your rounds to come out extremely even, like if you're making a design, for instance, if this little octopus had speckles on her, I would want to do that slip stitch method because it keeps all the stitches lined up a little better. If I were doing something called mosaic crochet, I would want to do the slip stitch method if I were trying to do that in the round. It's very difficult to do in the round. Anyway, then you want to start single crocheting, except, surprise, we've got to make this circle bigger. Obviously, she's a little bigger than that, you know? This is a little too small. Little hat. We don't need a little hat. We need a little octopus. So we're going to do an increase, where you stick your hook into the same stitch, and then you make one more single crochet in there. And that's an increase because you've got 2 single crochets in the same stitch. You'll also see me crocheting over the tail. That's accomplished by just sort of setting it on top of your stitches. Because when you put your hook through here and you pull up a loop, and then you pull something through back here, it will naturally hold it in the middle. Because, like, you pull up your loop's in the front, you pull a loop from the back, you pull that through. Your tail's got nowhere to go when you do that. I'm glad you like it, Yin Yang Lord. Oh, good. I mean, who here is traditional? That's true, Val. True facts. And thanks. I'm glad you think I'm good at this. I've been doing this for a long, long time. Like I said, I've been doing this since I was 10, and I am no longer 10 anymore. So we've been at this for a while. Gosh. I still have the thing I first crocheted too. It's the saddest little thing. I didn't know how to turn to make a turning chain. And I didn't really know how to single crochet yet either. So what I ended up doing was I just chained a bunch of stitches, and then I didn't even know how to do a slip stitch, so I just tied it together, called it a necklace, and called it a day. It's still in a bag with a bunch of the stuffed animals too, like that I made that I'm keeping for me. So yeah, that's the second round. You just increase all the way around. Now comes the fun part. You gotta do the pattern where you do 1 single crochet and then an increase. Oh, golly. That can happen sometimes, especially when you're me, that you just, like, your hands slip just a little bit. There we go. These hands are new. This is normally achieved with tentacles, but y'all have hands, so I'm going to do it with hands. Ba-da-ba-da. This does not take me long to work up. Oh, I can explain what happened here, too. This happens to me sometimes as well with this yarn. This is called a yarn split. Sometimes when you're working with yarn, instead of putting your hook through the whole piece, you'll put your hook sort of through the different plies of the yarn, because yarn is made up of a whole bunch of different threads woven together. It's going to be a little tricky to see, but you can kind of see that there's like 4 different little threads in here, and I can insert my hook in between them. Yeah! Don't panic if that happens. ADHD starting at the orange. Lol. Don't panic if that happens. Just take your hook out, undo the stitch, and go again. You can always come back and find your place by counting. Or by just looking at them. I can see where my increases are, and where my single crochets are, because I can see the difference. I have a lot of practice telling the difference, but if you know that you started on a single, you can also just count, because you can go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, oh, well, this is an increase, because you're going out to 18. And then, golly. Oh, that's because I split the yarn. Right. I split the yarn just to show you, and of course it's going to be a little weaker there. The reason that you want to fix split yarn by undoing your stitch is because it makes the pattern weaker. And it gives these little like weird lumpy bumps that you don't like in your pattern. Trust me, you don't want them. There are some very complicated, fancy, advanced patterns that will call for you to split the yarn on purpose, but they're rare to find, and usually they're less crochet and more art, I guess is how I would put that. They're on purpose trying to make those lumpy bumps. They're not meant to be worn or played with or whatever. They're just meant to be decoration. Would you kindly stay in my hands? Thank you. Thank you. This is why I was going to do this with a size 10 hook. And I might still get that size 10 out. You guys also should get to see my biggest hook. My biggest hook is, I think, 25 millimeters or 30. Something silly like that. There are rolling pins smaller than it. Da-da, da-da. There we go. Also, I will say this is very zen to do, so sometimes if I need to work on a big project or I'm just kind of like in the mood to zone out, I'll just put on like a playlist that I know I like, or like some true crime or something, and I'll just be there like, and then suddenly there'll be like a whole sweater in my hands, and I'm like, huh, where did that come from? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, see, you've got a lot of practice, Val, at art. This is the thing that I put all of my talents into. I woke up one morning and said, this is the skill tree for me. Anyway, we're increasing up to 24. So you do 2 single crochet and then you do an increase. If you're the kind of person who can see where their increases are, like I can, actually I can show you guys. These first 2, well, maybe the lights will cooperate. These first 2 are single crochets, and then these 2 together are an increase. And then you just kind of keep going like that. Just yarning over, making your single crochets, and then making your increases. Now, there is a way to make a perfect sphere using math. I'm not the only one who's done it, but we've done the math. It's not... This will eventually start looking like a hexagon because it's 6... because it's a 6 blah blah blah. Words are hard. Because you're increasing by multiples of 6 every time, this will eventually start to look like a hexagon. But that's okay, because we're going to round it out by stuffing it and shaping it. If for some reason you didn't want it to look like a hexagon and wanted it to be a perfect circle, an orb, if you will, you can do that. It's just a lot more complicated. And it only works for certain sizes of orb. Otherwise, it gets a little too complicated because you can't make half a stitch. Come on now. Part of the reason that my hook is slipping is because I'm trying to angle this so that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. So I'm holding it in a weird way. Slightly weird for me anyway. Also, don't do what I'm doing. Holding stitch markers, pins, darning needles, etc. in your mouth, radula or not the best move. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. Hexagons are besticons. Thanks, YouTube. You're right. You are completely correct. Alright, now that we've got up to 24, now we can start working the usual rounds. Click. There we go. Oh yeah, good. I did put that so I could see everything. Now we can start working the usual rounds, because this is looking a lot more like it's this size, right? Right. Oh, I forgot something. No, you know what? We'll make this one of my sun-loving cousins. They don't need ears if they're my sun-loving cousins. Alright, let's go. And we'll just go around. And all you have to do is crochet around for 5 rounds. I'll show you how to count your rounds when we get to the other end of this. But we're going rounds 5 to 8. You just go all the way around. Do 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 do. Yeah. There we go. It's not super complicated or anything. It's just the same thing again. This is the part where a YouTuber would speed right up, but I'm on Twitch, so you guys get to see me do this live. And you can enjoy how reasonably quick I am at this. I'm not as fast as Nanny was. Well, Nanny was a knitter too, so that's different. But by golly, if you were cold and said as much, just, oh, you're cold? Yeah. It'd be like an hour later and you'd have slippers on your feet. Where did they come from? Nanny made them. Did Nanny make them right then and there? Yes. That's just how it happens. Well, my bad habits are at it again. Oh, come back here. Yeah, that's the ticket. Come on now. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Anyway, this is a lot of fun for me. At it again with her baking and crochet skills. It's true. I got a cat. Well, Roxy's not in here because Roxy would insist on assisting me. She loves to help, you see. And when the yarn's moving around, every so often I'll be like going along, crocheting away, and then I'll get to a point where my yarn's having trouble moving, and I'm like, man, that feels weird. And then I think about it for a second, and I go, wait, hold on a second. This yarn is wet. Why is my yarn wet? Why is my yarn wet and pulling back on me? What's going on? And then I look over, and there's the cat, chewing. Just munching away. It's especially difficult when I'm working on something like Scrappy. Oh, right, Scrappy is a blanket. So there is a thing that you can do if you want to crochet something that's very thick or very heavy and you don't have big, bulky, thick, heavy yarn. What you do is you take 2 different yarns or 3 or 4 different yarns, or in my case, 7 different yarns. You tie them all together at one end. And you treat that as one yarn, like just one piece of yarn, and then you crochet away. Now, Scrappy is made of 7 different yarn balls, but each of them have one thing in common, and that's that whenever I'm finished a project and don't have quite enough to like make anything else with that ball of yarn, I tie it to the end of one of those balls, whichever one looks like it's lightest or smallest, and then I just carry on crocheting that way. So Scrappy's made out of all of my yarn scraps. Someday I'll have to weave the ends in on Scrappy. And that means, well, this tail has become an end. And what I should do, but won't, because it's on the inside of the project, so when it gets stuffed, it just goes away. What I would do if it was on the outside is I would take a darning needle and I would sew it back in underneath the stitches. Scrappy's going to have a lot of those. I'm not sewing them in. I can't be made to sew them in. It's just not going to happen. Because every time I finish something, I tie another piece of yarn on there, and that creates a yarn end. Unless you know how to do the Russian join, which I'm not confident with. I know how to do it, it's just I get scared. The way a Russian join makes is because you take 2 pieces of yarn, you stick your needle in the center of one piece of yarn, and then you kind of like sew the other piece of yarn into it. And it looks really cool, and it works really well, and it scares me to do it because I am not trustworthy with that kind of motion. Oh, thanks for the birthday wishes! Thanks, Milk! Halo X Splatoon crossover weapon. The Plaz dualies. Ooh, a burst bomb. Oh, I like that. Something that sticks to an enemy would be amazing. Oh, the last weekend of April is Founders Day. Yeah, time for fun. Is the Starship 3000 the Gravitron? It's enclosed and you go up and down on those metal things with the little pads on them. And like it just spins really fast. Because I would love that thing. If so. Amazing if so. Also, I do have some other yarn colors sitting by me. I'm using yellow to teach you guys because it shows up best. I know it's coming out orange on camera. I will tell you right now, this color is the same color as a school bus. That's literally why I picked it. I had to make a school bus earlier. Alright, because I've forgotten where I am, I'm going to show you guys how to count rounds. So the way to count rounds is you find the little hole underneath your last stitch, and you just count those down. So in this case, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The hole in the middle of your magic ring counts. You can also try to count like the top of a round and not count that, but it's easier to just count the holes on your way down. So I need one more round like this. This is also a good ball to make Kirby too. I've got a pretty decent way of sizing up and down balls. You take the number of increase rounds, divide it by 2, and add 1. And that's how many rounds you need in the middle to make a round object. So if I increase out by 2 rounds, 18 is where that starts to work. It doesn't work for smaller things. Smaller balls, if you go 6, 12, you're not adding another round, you're just going straight back to 6 to make a round thing. And then 6, 12, 18, 12, 6 also does that. But once you get out to 24, you have to start thinking about it. And in that case, you need a few rounds in between to make it be a ball instead of just a flat orb, oval type dealy. Alright, that is round 8. Now we get to do the fun part. I'm glad. The other colors I've got with me are a very pale pink that came out kind of salmon on camera, and a blue that matches this hook exactly, is even shiny. That yarn's just harder to work with. So I set it aside to use this, because this same yellow is also, it also forces me to go a bit slower than usual because it's not as slippy as the other two. What was I doing next? Oh, right! So, normally when you're decreasing from here on a pattern, you're almost certainly going to be decreasing back to 18 and then down to 12 and then 6. We're not doing that because we need space for all these little tentacles. Bloop, bloop, bloop. How else am I going to bloop around? It's a mystery. We can't bloop around without tentacles in a little skirt. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to decrease and then single crochet all the way around. That'll make 16 stitches. It sounds like it should make it seems almost like it should make 12 stitches sometimes. My brain, when I first started crochet, thought it would make 12 stitches. It does not, because you have to count the stitch you're working in. Alright, so let me double check my patterning. Ooh, neat! That's cool, Val! Descendant of one of the families who founded the town is neat. Alright, so we start with our decrease, and then we move on to the single crochet. Now there's two ways to do a decrease. You can do it like this. You can put your hook in here, pull up a loop, and instead of single crocheting, put your hook in the next stitch and pull up a loop, and then pull through all of that. When I make stuffed animals, I find that to be way too visible, way too easy to see, so I do something else called an invisible decrease, where you see how it's a V shape, you find the front part, this here, and you find the front part of the other stitch, this here. You put your hook through both of those, you yarn over the once, you pull it back through these two front loops, and then you pull up a loop like that. And it's a lot less visible, especially once your pattern is going. Because see, you can hardly see it now that I've put another stitch in. And I'm sure that, you literally can't see it on her at all. Like, you can see some spots where there's, a bit more space between the holes, but I'm almost certain that you literally cannot see it on her. I can't see it in person all the time. I know what I'm looking for to look for it, but if I didn't, I'd never know what it was. Okay. The reason that we're doing this pattern, by the by, the reason that we're doing this pattern is because it has a lot of good examples of things that you'll need to know for later if you want to make toys and dolls and things. And I do make dolls. I'm not going to reach up to get the one that's above me because she is trapped right now by the wire for my ring light. And I don't dare reach up for her because if I knock my ring light wire over, I'm scared. I'm scared that it'll move. And it's what's lighting us up. Mostly. So I don't want it to move around because I struggled so much, y'all. Y'all, I have so much respect for YouTubers and people who have to do lighting every day all the time. Oh, it's tricky. Lights are hard. Why can't we live in the deep sea where there don't need to be lights and you just do this stuff by feel? Which, by the way, is a thing I can do. Thank you, Sheep's Wife! Welcome in, Fenris Oathstone. We're crocheting today. This is not what we usually do, but it's my birthday and I do what I want. Normally I play a lot of video games on this channel. We probably will still play video games tonight, because my Animal Crossing villagers know it's my birthday and Bunny Day is coming along. I did my chores yesterday off stream, so I'm going to do them again today. And I've been decorating Petrie's little area. Petrie is studying all the moss on the island. The moss is dangerous. A little bit dangerous. But that's what science fiction islands are for. I don't think it's going to be science fiction exactly. It's going to be naturalistic, but there's going to be science fiction elements when I get Rattle. And I mean, Cephalobot and Sprocket both live there, so we've got to get our little frog friend. Which reminds me that I need to get a little drink. A little sippy sip. I getcha. Oh, crochet's super easy. I say that, but I've been crocheting since I was 10 years old. So, let me pull that out, because I know where I am in this pattern. It's not super complicated. All you need is a hook. Hook. And some yarn. You'll also want a darning needle, which is this guy here. It's got a much larger hole than a normal needle would have in it. And you'll probably want a regular sewing needle of some kind as well. just to do embroidery details if that's what you want to do. Some people do their details in yarn, and that's fine too. I have a bunch of cool stuff on here. This needle is self-loading. You slip the yarn in there, and then you don't have to slide the yarn through. There's just a little gap where you can slip the yarn in. And it also means that you can slip the yarn back out. You'll also probably want a stitch marker and maybe like some dressmaker's pins. But those things are all optional. It depends on what you want to make. Oh, good! No, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that people have been crocheting. Oh, I see, I see. These are stitch markers. What? They look a little like safety pins, and in fact a safety pin can be used just like a stitch marker anyway. You put them, like this one here, you put them in the stitch that you're on, so that you know where your round starts and ends. Wow, I've got to get better at holding that in front of the camera. I've been crocheting for so long that, for a long, long time. Don't compare yourself to me. Because like I said, I've been crocheting since I was 10. I am more than old enough to vote. So, I've been at this for ever. Basically forever. And you've only been at this for what, like a week? Oh, okay. I see, I see. Okay, I get you now. I'm on to you now. I am much better at reading patterns than words, apparently. Let me just detangle these boys. So, the way that it works is super simple. Most things start with a slip knot. I make a slip knot like so. I wind the yarn around my finger, and then wind it around one more time. Take the back loop, bring it over the front loop, and then take the now back loop, and bring it over the front loop, and then pull that loop up. If you make slip knots differently, that's okay. That's just how I find it easiest to do it. And this one always comes out going the right direction. So if you pull the part that's attached to the yarn ball, it'll tighten, and if you pull the little tail, it'll loosen back off. And that's how it should be. You can hold your hook like this if you want to, if it's more comfortable. I find it more comfortable to hold it like it's a pencil. But that's just how I like to do things, because I tend to work with things that are very small, and they need a lot of precision. This is a good hold for making things that are larger, that are going to require you to hold them more like this. And for making things that you're crocheting, where you're crocheting around something. I make cute little lace shoes sometimes like this. I will also say I hold my yarn in tatter's hand position, because I also make lace through a process called tatting, which is how this stuff is made on my pincushion. That is tatted. It's super cute. If you're having trouble with your hands being like enormous and the hook disappearing, that's normal. There are a couple of things that I would suggest. There are hooks that are intended specifically for a style of crochet called, I think it's Tunisian. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's done a little bit differently, but it requires a much longer hook. You can also get ergonomic hooks. Like this one. This one is designed to be ergonomic, so you're supposed to hold it up here and then crochet like down at the bottom. I hold my hooks way down here, so it doesn't quite become ergonomic for me. This one also lights up, so that you can see what you're doing a little easier. And it has interchangeable hook heads. I got it off Amazon for like 15, 20 bucks, this whole set. I like it a lot. there's a couple of very big popular crochet brands. Susan Bates in the States anyway is a very big popular crochet brand that sells like nice chunky hooks. And you can always find people making chunky custom hooks on Etsy that are like, they have big grips on them. So they're a lot easier to work with. Welcome in, Wolfie! Yeah! Surprise! I have hands! I made them! I made them out of I made them out of things. Also, welcome in, Diablo Botus. Voting in Canada, what kind of anti-communist concept is this? Yes, exactly. Ridiculous, right? So anyway, the way that you work from here, once you have your little slip knot, is you wind the yarn around from the back of the hook over the top, and then you pull it through. And that's a chain stitch. Most things you can work with a chain. Except amigurumi sometimes. You can work amigurumi like this with a chain. Just a very small one. I'll make this much, much bigger so I can show you what I mean. Where you just kind of like chain out like this. You find your very first stitch. You count these letter V's to do that. You find your first stitch. You find that top little bump. Put your hook in there. Yarn over. Pull through. And then you pull through the loop that's on your hook. And that's a slip stitch. And then if you're going to work like this, you work into this hole to start your amigurumi. So you slip your hook in. Yarn over. And then you pull a loop through both of those to make a single crochet. Through both of those, I say, without splitting the yarn like I almost did. And then you just keep working around it. Now, the reason that I don't start like this is because it leaves a big hole. You normally do that by chaining like 2 or 3 and then making a circle and then working in a tiny little hole. So I guess for just to repeat that a little bit, and so that you guys can see the difference, I'll show you what it looks like when you do that. 2. Yeah, 2. 2 should do it. No, 3. And then you slip stitch in here. Yeah, this yarn's fairly small. 3 should do it. And then you do that. And then you have to find the hole, which can be a little annoying, but once you find it once, you'll have a hard time losing it after that. And then you crochet your 6 stitches around this. Now, I don't care to do it this way. I find it doesn't leave as clean a finish. But it is easier if you're just starting out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. It is a lot easier if you're just starting out. And if you don't care, like, it's not that much of a difference, honestly. I'm glad you like the pink. It's very pastel in person. I imagine the tentacles are wrapped around the handles outside the view like little stick things. Puppeteering them? I would never. And I would definitely also never puppeteer a member of aquarium staff to do this. I certainly wouldn't ratatouille a member of aquarium staff to do this. I would never. It's definitely not what's happening. I am definitely not on someone's head puppeteering them. I would never do that. Not in a million years. In case you guys really want to learn the basics, I also have videos on my YouTube channel. There's a little tiny playlist of the basic stitches, and sort of how to use them and how to make a granny square, which is what literally everybody gets taught when they're first crocheting. Honestly, I will say this one thing, as recommended by my friends who have learned to crochet and also have a bit of ADD, or odd HD, as you like. Learn amigurumi. They informed me that it's like granny squares are boring. You do one and then you're bored of it and you don't want to do any more. Doing amigurumi, each row is like a separate brand new mission, and it's fun and exciting to complete, and you have to do a different thing every single time, and you get a little stuffed animal at the end. So it's great. Anyway, if just doing that little chain stitch thing blows your mind, then a magic ring is going to completely destroy it. You are very close. Cephalopods is with a C at the beginning, despite what it sounds like. Oh yeah, we're going to do actual magic again. So the way that you do a magic ring is you wrap around here. You come up around the front of your hand. You wrap the yarn around your finger. You can use 2 fingers if it's a bigger piece. Like my granny squares, I used both of them. You come around like this. Whoop. You leave it just a little bit loose on your hand. It will tighten on its own, don't worry. You stick the hook through here. You pull this through. And then you chain one just like you would normally. And then you work in here. So you pull that through. Pull it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, what? Yeah. 5. 6. And now we're going to do the magic. You find the one that's in the back. So the loop that's in the back, because I know that these cross over, so it looks a little funky. This loop is in the front because it's coming out of the front of the pattern and because the tail is in between. And it's in front of the tail. This loop is in the back. It's at the back of the pattern and behind the tail. So you pull the back loop. That tightens the ring. Okay. And then you pull the tail to tighten the rest. Whoop! And then boom! You have a little circle. Magic! Gasp! She's a witch! Welcome in, Brandon. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Twitch has decided I'm a witch. And thank you for the follow, Fenris. This isn't what we normally do here. Usually we play video games, but it's my birthday and I do what I want. This is also a family-friendly channel, so we play a lot of like Nintendo games. Animal Crossing has been the big one lately, but most recently I've been playing Princess Peach. I am a competitive Splatoon player, but don't worry, I'm cool. I say that. The whole competitive scene is generally pretty cool, actually. We know what we're about. And Val, you know this better than I do. What have I been playing? I've been playing all sorts of things. So yeah, that's how you get your magic ring. And then all you do from here is follow the pattern. You start with this first stitch, which I made a bit too tight because I forgot my own advice of leave it a little bit loose, you have to work in it later. You do your single crochets. Come on, come on, come on out. You can come on out now. No, that's going to split the yarn. This is going to take a little bit of... Yeah, there we go. You do your single crochets, and then you carry on. Oh wait, I should put a stitch marker in. I don't need it, but you guys probably could benefit from it. 4, 5, 6, 7. I said 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just realized you guys could benefit from a stitch marker. There we go. If you ever want to save a piece of work that you're working on but you're not done, you do this. You can also, if you're really worried, like if you're chucking it in your backpack or something, hook your little loop around your stitch marker if you have one, or put something in that little loop to keep it from pulling out. Because if you do, then even if it's in your backpack and it like something catches the yarn and it pulls, it'll still be there. Like it won't fall completely out. Because it can't. So that way you'll know where things are. Oh, I don't know what SDV stands for. Oh yeah, we also play Guild Wars 2. You're right, Val. I should be shilling for my favorite game. Hey, Bloom, you actually got it! Oh yeah, Stardew Valley! Right, of course! I love Stardew Valley! I don't play it on stream usually. Oh, Bloom got it right! This is actually my birthday. Now what are you gonna do? After like 8 months, it's true. What will you do now? Anytime I hear "what will you do now," I think immediately of I'm going to Earth to turn into a lobster, which is an Animorphs reference that I don't know if any of you get. Oh, Stardew Valley's great. It even has multiplayer. Val, you would love Stardew Valley. If you like Animal Crossing, oh, whoops, bumped the mic. You would love Stardew. There's romance options. It's good. Animorphs book series. We love Animorphs in this house. That's what I grew up reading. We got them from the Scholastic book order every time one came out. All right, now where was I? 8 times. Da, da, da. Oh, yes, right. I remember what I have to do. Okay. So, we're back around to the beginning of the round. Now what we have to do is we have to even this off. Remember how I said that I don't normally join with a slip stitch to work my rounds? We're going to have to this time. The reason for that is because we need this round to be very, very even. And this is what's also called a clean finish. When you're done with a piece, if you do that last little slip stitch, it makes it flatten. Well, here, you can see that there's a bit of a bump here. Like, this is clearly taller than the start of the round. Because it's kind of on an angle, right? It's kind of a spiral. So what we do is we make a clean finish. We do a slip stitch in the first stitch of our previous round. Now, we're not actually finished here yet, but this helps even it out so that we don't keep having that bump. Because if we keep having that bump, it's going to make our tentacles even more funky than they are wherever we put them. Because it'll make them spiral. And now, if you have access to Stardew, it's really good. I have it on Steam, I think. I think. And I really enjoy it. There's also multiplayer. Stardew lets up to 4 or 8 people work on their little farm. It plays like Harvest Moon. And it's cute like Harvest Moon. Okay. Now we're going to work in our back loops. Oh, no worries, Val. You can come and go as you please. You know that. Now we're going to work in our back loops only. The reason that we're doing this is because later we're going to come and work in in these front loops, and we're going to use them. We're going to use them to make these little tentacles. But first we have to make a space for us to do that. Now, when you hear somebody say work in the back loops or the front loops only, what they're talking about is, you see how the top of that stitch is a little V shape? This is your front loop in the front, facing the outside of your project. This is the back loop in the back, facing the back of your project. Front post and back post is also that same sort of thing, but it's for the middle bit. And it usually only comes up in double crochet, which I'm going to show you real quick. This is not part of the pattern, but I will show you real quick what that looks like. If you have some double crochets going along, and somebody tells you to work in the front post or the back post, what they're asking you to do is, instead of putting your hook in here, like in where you would normally in the top of the stitch, they're asking you to come around underneath that, find the space between your stitches, put your hook in there, go around back of it, and come out the other side and pull your loop through there. Or they're asking you to come around, how does front post work? Oh yeah, they're asking you to come around sort of over the top of it. I'm not very good at working in the front post, like working in between the posts, unless it's like this. The other way is to come around sort of backwards to it. This looks messy, I'm sure, but I never need to work the front post unless I'm cabling. Cable stitch is something that you'll probably know from like old-timey sweaters. Anytime they're trying to show that somebody's kind of a nerd, you'll see cabling on the sweater almost certainly. Although it's been coming back into fashion. It's that sort of double helix pattern that you see on the front of some sweaters. That's what cabling looks like. Anyway, chain one, and working in the back loops alone, you get in here, and then you just start your work. Now this is a case where you have to get down to 12 from 16. So you're going to single crochet one, and then you're going to bring two together. You cannot do an invisible decrease if you are working in the back or front loops. I mean, hypothetically you could, but it'd be extremely difficult. And I find it's more trouble than it's worth, especially if it's back loops. No one's going to see this. It's inside your project. It's physically inside the octopus. No one will see it, so I don't really bother with the invisible decrease. It's easier in the front loops, obviously, but no one's going to see this part. It's going to be covered up by tentacles anyway, so it's fine to do like a regular decrease. What this is going to do is leave us with 12 stitches and 16 little bumps on the outside. This will also make this part of the project bend in on itself, which is what's going to make it flat at the bottom. So where am I at? That's the slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I doing? Right. Single crochet, two together, single crochet, and then the same thing. Oh, right, I don't need two together, I need a single crochet. I'm being silly. Do, 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 do. Okay. Single crochet, two together, single crochet. And then single crochet, decrease, and single crochet, and there should be space to do that twice more. Come on, you. Single crochet, decrease, single crochet, and then single crochet, decrease. Come on now. And single crochet. Okay. Now, this is the other problem with a slip stitch. For beginners, it's hard to tell where your slip stitch is. I know where my slip stitch is because I can see this little thing that doesn't make any sense, and I can see that this doesn't have a post like my single crochets do. But when you're first starting out looking at the top of this, you're going to look at it and go V shape, V shape, V shape. That's 3 stitches. It's not. Don't let it fool you. There's only one of these 3 V shapes. Only one of them is a real stitch. It's that one. So it can be tricky. That's also why some people will mark the first stitch of their round so that they don't get tripped up by the slip stitch. Oh, welcome in, Mike Doodles. Thanks. Thank you. I'm glad you finished side order. Side order is great. This is eventually going to be a little octopus. One of my sun-dwelling cousins, because I did not put little ears on. Which one of us is the real stitch? Exactly. Now, I know, because I know this pattern very well, that's what's going to happen next is that I'm going to go around and bring it down to 6, and then I'm going to close it. So I'm going to start stuffing it now. If you are not used to working around stuffing, you can just go all the way around to 6 and then use your scissors to stuff. I don't like doing it that way. I like just pushing this in and then getting the stuffing in there and sorting it out later, like working around the stuffing. In case you guys are curious, the stuffing that I use is... it's not going to fit on the camera. It's this stuff. That's a little bag of it, and I don't have very much of it left. Well, not in this little bag. I have a giant, like, 64-ounce bag over there. It's huge. In case you guys are wondering how big a 64-ounce bag of this is, this bag that I held up for you guys was 8 ounces. I don't know why it's measured that way, but it is. A 64-ounce bag would stuff like 4 pillows for a bed. And it would stuff them full. Anyway, you stuff your little thing now. Make sure that when you're stuffing, you stuff from the outside in. So you really want to get in there and make sure that it sort of spreads out inside. Because otherwise you're going to end up with like a lumpy looking thing. Now, I have a tendency to like very firmly stuffed animals. You can see she doesn't have a lot of squish to her. I will say, this one is a project that I made for me, so she's also stuffed with yarn scraps, which make a much harder fill. That's much easier to shape if you're sculpting something. Whereas this is going to be squishy no matter what I do. Because I'm stuffing it with actual stuffing. So it's going to have that give and that squish no matter what. Stuffing is up to you. When you stuff a project like this, you do whatever you want with it. It's your project. Sometimes I take commissions for these things from people because, I like doing it. And especially when I was still working in the business factory where we made numbers, people would come by, see me on break or see me doing something else, and they'd be like, "Oh, can I do that?" And I'd go, "Yeah, I can teach you how to do that." And they'd go, "This is way too hard." And I'd go, "Oh, can you make me something?" They'd say. And I'd go, "Yeah, what do you want?" Or they'd come by and go, "Wow, that's really good. You should sell these." And I'd go, "I do. Did you want a piece?" It was very funny to watch them go, "Uh-oh," and realize what they had walked into. But it worked out well enough. That should be enough stuffing for you. It's not quite enough for me, but yeah, that should be good. Whoop! Off the stuffing goes. We don't need it anymore. From here, it's just as simple as bringing it down to 6 stitches, so I'm straight up going to take this stitch marker out because I don't need it. If you're brand new, you still need your stitch marker. Leave it in. Just trust me on this one. I'm not surprised that I sound like a teacher. I did go to school for teaching, so I have a very academic cadence when I'm talking about stuff like this. Okay. That's the slip stitch. That's a fake. That's the first real stitch. Now we're just going to go around decreasing every single time. This part, especially if you've stuffed it first, can get a little bit weird. That's why some people don't stuff first, just to keep their stitches nice and tight. My stitches are already so tight that if they loosen off a little bit, it's not the end of the world. Oh, right. I need to put that in a way that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. At least a little. There we go. That's 3. The other thing about invisible decreases like this is sometimes they can confuse people about which stitch they're on. Because sometimes it looks like there's an extra stitch hanging out there, because this can sometimes trick you. But don't let it trick you. It's lies. This should be 5. Yeah, because I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 7 stitches. That means that I'm on stitch 5. And then there we go. Now, there's 2 ways to finish this off. I'm only going to demonstrate one of them, but I'll tell you what the other one is. The way that some people will finish this off is they'll just keep crocheting around. Or they'll try to sort of crochet the stitches together again. I don't like it because it doesn't look right to me. This is where my scissors are going to come in handy. Fun fact, I've had these scissors since I was 13 and they are still the sharpest scissors I own. These things can cut metal. I don't know why, because they're just Fiskars. I got them for 7th grade and they have never yet let me down. I use them to cut flower wire sometimes if I'm making something interesting. That should be enough. Now we're going to show you why you need a darning needle. Oh, I trust that you would. I know people would pay me money to make them things. And I would make you a small pink octo with a little beret. Anyway, so what we're going to do at this end is we're going to close this off the other way that I like to close things off. This is a darning needle. You'll know darning needles because they're a bit bigger and they have a much larger hole at the top because they're meant for yarn. A good number of darning needles will come to you and have dull ends. Like, this is also a darning needle, so it's got a dull end. You can just spend all day doing that. Nothing will happen. Some darning needles are plastic as well because they do not need to be metal necessarily. They only need to have that big eye at the top and generally be able to work through yarn. So they don't necessarily need to be pointy like a sewing needle is. I prefer a pointy one though, because sometimes I have to sew yarn through itself. This one is quite pointy. I'm not going to press my finger into that because it is sharp. There's a few ways to thread a needle. You can do it in the traditional thread a needle way. I prefer to do it like this by hooking it over the top, folding the yarn in half over the needle, pulling it out, and then what you do is you kind of squeeze the yarn so that it's flat. You bring your needle down like this. You can make a little sawing motion, it makes it easier. Or you can just press it down, and then you pull this through. I don't know how it works. Nanny taught me to do it that way. Meh. It's a mystery how it works to me, but it does. It works every time. So there's that. If you find you're having a special difficulty threading a needle, what you can do instead is, instead of either of those things, let's just stick that there for now, is you can grab thread that's smaller. Where's my little case? There's my little case. I need some scrap thread. Scrap thread, hello? Knock, knock. Oh, I have so much thread. Oh no. I have a little pencil. Oh, I can just show you guys what I'm digging through. I have a little pencil case. It's full of things. It's where I keep my pincushion normally as well. It just slots in the side there. And this is what I take with me places when I'm traveling. So that I can have stuff on hand. It's got a bunch of different thread. It's got some buttons hiding out in there. Got a little key ring in case I want to do a cool little key ring thing. Sometimes I make stuff that goes on key rings. Speaking of those buttons, I actually needed that. Oh no, it's absconded. And oh hey, there's googly eyes in there too. I knew I had googly eyes somewhere. It's got spare needles and things like that. You can see me pawing around in it, I'm sure, on camera. I'll just embroider details if I can't find the other buttons. Oh, no, there it is. Come here. Come on. I know that you're there. I felt it. I can't believe I'm taking out half the things in here to find that one single button that I definitely felt. There it is. I found it. The thread that you see in here is something I also can crochet with from time to time. It's what I use for making miniature things. And I make very, very tiny things when I make miniatures. Miniature things and lace. Here we go. It's white, but it'll do. If you're having a special trouble... Oh, cute! I'm glad you found a cute beret. If you're having a special trouble loading a needle, take a thread that's much, much smaller than the eye of that needle. You can also do this with a little bit of wire if you have it. It works too. Take a thread that's way smaller, pull through that loop, open up that loop, take what you want to go through there, which is this yarn. Thread that yarn up through. Hold on to it a little bit, because you're going to need to hold on to it a little bit. And then pull this through. And boom! Needle threaded. I will say, this works when you have a thread that's just a tiny bit too big for the needle that you're trying to put it in, or exactly the same size as the eye of the needle that you want to put it in. And it can work to help beginners get needles threaded. I'll caution you not to rely on it, because though it works basically every time, you should learn how to thread a needle in one of the other ways, so that you don't need to have a piece of scrap and then struggle later. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. So, the way that we close off our work when we're done with it, when we're working in the round like this for amigurumi, is you find that outside loop. So you see your V shape, you're finding the outside loop. It can be tricky to see. The first one usually has the outside loop sticking straight up because that's just how it is. You bring the needle in under that. You pull this through loosely. Do not tighten it yet. We're going to tighten it, but not yet. You do the same thing here. If you guys are familiar with making a drawstring bag, you probably know where we're going with this. Though there are two types of drawstring bags, so you probably, if you've made one, you've probably made the simpler one that doesn't work this way, but still. There we go. And you just keep going around like this. Carefully. You want to make sure you're not sewing through it if you have a sharp needle like I do, but actually getting in the stitch. And then I like to go up through this one. You don't have to, but I like to. You also have to be very careful not to sew through that if you're going to go up through this one. And now we're going to tighten it off. It's going to be hard to see it do this because I have to hold the yarn sort of so it doesn't do anything silly. But we tighten it off. And boom, you never knew a hole was there. There's never been a hole there a day in your life. Not its life, not your life, not anybody's life. No holes there. See? No holes. This is a very small project, so I can take this yarn straight up through the middle and then up through the middle of the magic ring. Whoop. And boom, it's basically flat. Now, you could stop there and then just shove this back in. It won't be as secure. It'll be done. Just not as secure. If you could choose between having an extra set of arms or being much smarter, which would you choose? Smarter. You can build an extra set of arms if you're smarter if you need them. That's how Dr. Octopus existed. Like, 100%, that's just how it's done. I want the power of brain. Want the power of brain good. Anyway, from here, like I said, you can finish it off like that. It will not stay forever that way. You can always pluck it out that way. I tend to finish mine off with a French knot. Not a very good French knot, admittedly, but it's always held for me. So what you do is you find a spot in between your stitches, like this one. You shove your needle in, find another spot elsewhere in another row in between your stitches, preferably in the back of your project or somewhere that it won't be noticed. Or you can come right back through to the bottom. I'm not going to because I can hide my French knots really well. See also, I know where the French knot for this one is, but I'm willing to bet that none of you do. I don't think any of you can see it. So, I'm pretty good at hiding them. Anyway, you very carefully tug that out like that. Hardly anyone is going to notice that spare thing in there, especially because this is so tight. And it'll be tight when you do it too. This is because that's not governed by stitch tension exactly. That's by the tightening of the magic ring. Anyway, to do a French knot, you get in behind these loops, in behind these little shapes that were made by your crochets, by your stitches. This is going to be harder for me than you because my stitch tension is real tight. You can hook a few more loops than I'm going to. Like I said, my stitch tension's real tight, so I'm only going to hook a couple. Yeah, come on. You pull that right through them. And then you skip that first little loop. You get in here. And then you have to sort of, it's a little bit by feel and a little bit by sight. You have to sort of find the thread that you just pulled through. It's hard to see it, but that's it there. You stick your needle through it. And then come on. Out it comes. Woof. That was tough. Let me just give that a little extra tug. There we go. And now this won't come undone. And the reason that it won't come undone is because what you've actually accomplished is you have the thread pulling in different directions on itself. So, I'm not going to sew a French knot into this part. But imagine just for a moment that you have these two pieces of thread, right? And you sew this one through the one below somewhere. So you stitch it through. Bang. Now what happens is, if you pull on this, it'll come exactly as far as this thread allows it, because this thread is acting like a post that it's tied onto, and friction keeps it shut. Likewise, if you pull this thread will go, hey, hold on there, and it'll keep it in place. And that's how the French knot works. That's also how you finish off lace, usually, If you crochet lace or if you are tatting lace or something, you finish it off with a French knot. Now we hide our tail. The tail is also hidden by friction. You just pull it through your piece. And the friction will hide it from there. Now there's a few ways to hide this last part. You can keep stitching it in if you really want to. You shouldn't, but you can. Or, wait, those are bad habits. Y'all don't need to see my bad habits. You can't see my bad habits, but I promise holding needles in your mouth is a terrible habit to have. So then what you do is you cut this off, as close to your project as you can. I can get pretty close, but there was a time when I was like so scared to cut my project that I'd be like way out here somewhere. Don't worry, you are not going to cut your project stitches, and even if you did, it probably wouldn't be the end of the world. And then that last little bit that kind of sticks out, you can get that to go in there in a couple of ways. I like to take the back end of my needle and just push it, because you can. If you have a larger project, you can give it a pull by going in near it and sort of trying to hook it onto the needle and pull it down. If it's a large project, like a blanket or something, and you're using yarn that's way too big, like ginormous, you can use your scissors to stuff it down too. And that is the base for our octopus. Woo! Bloop, bloop, bloop. Why is Helen so pretty? Helen's so pretty because she has to be. That's just how she's drawn. I'm glad you're enjoying Magnus so much. I really like Magnus. It's a lot of fun. Let me catch up with chat a little bit. Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make legs. We're going to make little octopus legs. Now, keep in mind, when you make these little octopus legs, because we're working in a spiral, wherever you start is going to have a little bit of a bump. It's not super noticeable unless you look at the bottom, but some people, there are a few people who will find that noticeable and be like, don't love that. Don't worry. Like I said, it's not noticeable after a certain point. So, off we go. Now, for this, you don't have to do a slip stitch. You can just come in here from wherever, pop your needle. Some people call these crochet needles, and sometimes I do too by accident. It's okay to call them crochet needles. I just think it's a weird way to say it. Unless they're really tiny. You can just do this like this without the slip knot and carry on working. I don't care to because it doesn't feel as secure to me. I much prefer to put the slip knot, which, as I've shown you guys before, you wrap like this and like that, and then one, 2, boom, slip knot. Alright. Now, I've got to remember which way is up when I do this. This way is up. I've got it. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is, come back here. Come on now. We're going to chain one. I said chain one. Good work. And then we're going to chain one more. Oh, wait, no, I only need one. I'm crazy. And then we're going to do some half double crochets. Half double crochets are the next stitch up from a double crochet. You yarn over before you insert your hook. Then you insert your hook. Then you yarn over again. Then you've got 3 loops on your hook. You yarn over one more time. And then you pull this through all 3. And that's a half double. Now we're going to do that 4 more times in the same stitch, because we're making a tentacle. 3, 4, and 5. Now the next thing we do is we slip stitch in the next stitch in the back loop, or rather in the loop we left for ourselves. So we slip stitch here. You can single crochet here. It'll make a slightly less, it'll make it slightly less tentacly. Tentacly. And then we do that again. We make our 5 half doubles. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we slip stitch into the next stitch, which is just where you pull up a loop and just pull it straight through. You don't bother trying to crochet with it. While I'm doing this, because it's the same thing over and over again, I will tell you the fun thing. UK and US terminology is different. If a pattern is written in the UK, it will oftentimes call for double crochet, and you'll look at it and go, really though? Are you serious? But that's because they count their crochet stitches differently. In US terminology, we start slip stitch, and then we go single crochet, half double, double, then you skip straight to treble. There is a half treble, but you'll never use it. Half treble, or sorry, we skip straight to treble, and then quad, and so on and so forth. Like, you can stack some pretty tall stitches if you're crazy, but treble's the most you usually see. In the UK, they count the slip stitch as a single crochet instead. So they start from there, they go single crochet, double crochet, half treble, treble, and then a quad for the treble stitch instead. Because they like to be confusing. No, it's not actually because they like to be confusing. It's because it's the difference between counting, they're counting the loops on the hook. So a slip stitch only has one loop on the hook, so they call it a single crochet. There's 2 loops that you pull through for a single crochet, for an American single crochet, so they call it a double, and so on. Anyway, the reason that we're slip stitching like this instead of skipping a stitch is because it makes these start to crumple up. Like, you can see how they sort of crumple and ruffle like this, and we want them to do that. If we didn't want them to do that, we would skip a stitch and do a few less. It's coming cute! Hi, Momo! We're putting the tentacles on the yellow one. Don't worry, this blue one's one I've had for a while. But we're putting tentacles on. She's looking real cute. Ah, welcome in. Also, Val, the reason that the big artist decided to draw John so pretty is because Hot John writes. That's why. You'll see. You'll see why. Anyways, I don't super necessarily need to look at what I'm doing when I'm doing this, which is a cool thing that I've learned how to do. It also means that I can work with dark, dark thread, or dark, dark yarn and not necessarily need to look at what I'm doing. It's also how I learned to work with eyelash yarn, because eyelash yarn is such that you have trouble seeing what you're... Oh, split the stitches, I was saying that. Eyelash yarn is such that you're going to have trouble finding your stitches because of the way it is. You guys have encountered eyelash yarn in the wild, probably. It's what those really soft, fluffy scarves are usually made out of, that have, like, the yarn that you can pet. I've made things out of it, like amigurumi things out of it. I made a soot sprite like that. It was real cute. I'll show you guys a picture of it later when I get him down from where he's sitting. Oh, thank you for the birthday wishes. I love birthdays. They're great. Oh, it was a good time. We had my party yesterday, so most of today was spent recovering, if I'm being completely honest. Oh, it's a good time. All right, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we're done here, we're going to have 8 tentacles because of the limitation of the number of stitches that we did. Which makes sense. We should. We're supposed to have 8 tentacles. This is an octopus. If you're ever confused, you can just kind of look at the stitches. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the slip stitch. Okay. 1. Come back here. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. And then like this. Slip stitch. And then 1, 2, 3. Come on. I know you've split the yarn in there. Can feel it. 4. A little quick out of 5. We love lockpicking lawyer too in this house. And that's the slip stitch. Now, this would normally leave a space in between these tentacles, but I don't love that. What's going to happen next is I'm going to use my darning needle to stitch into that first stitch. And I'll show you what an invisible finish looks like. I showed you guys a clean finish, which is that slip stitch. An invisible finish is something like that. It's really cool looking, actually. In that it doesn't look like much of anything once you're done. Bloop. Okay. Need my darning needle again. Where's my favorite darning needle? Where ya? That's the one. Yeah. I have a favorite. All right. I'll see you soon, Momo. So what we're going to do is an invisible finish. The way this works is you find the next stitch in your round, which is this one here. You slide your needle in underneath that stitch as best you can. As best you can. Come on. There we go. You pull it through like that. This will join these two things together. And then you find the last stitch of your round. And you slide the needle through. You sort of find the middle of the V and you slide the needle through like this. Oh wait. I think this one's actually the last stitch. Is it? Let me look. Where's this coming out of? Yeah, this one's the last stitch. And then you slide the needle through. Now I'm angling it that way because we're going to go that way to hide the ends. But you can take it either way. And when you do this, if you do it right, this is a little funky because of the way I had to do it, but it looks like there's another crochet stitch there, so you can't find the end of the round. This works better when you're not doing it with like this sort of attachment. When you're not doing it with this sort of thing, when you're doing it with something that is just worked in the round but doesn't look quite like this. So I guess use at your own discretion, I suppose, but it does work pretty good. I'm actually going to hide this inside of the tentacle itself. Come on now. Listen, listen, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Je ne sais, ne sais pas pourquoi Some comme ça, le sang et moi. There we go. Je ne sais, ne sais. Alright. Ne sais pas pourquoi. Some comme ça, le sang et moi. There we go. That's a good French knot. Oh, also the song that I'm humming right now is from A Monster in Paris. It's a really, really good children's movie. Highly recommend. Don't recommend the English dub. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't recommend it. I liked the French one significantly better. It is a French movie. What did I knock off my desk? What did I knock away? Oh, it's my stitch marker. Excuse me a moment, chat. I gotta go diving for it. Scoot it away. I thought I heard something metal go, too. Oh well, we'll find that later. Whatever it was. Okay. Now, because this is a French knot, we don't need to hide it in anything. In flat work, like this, you legitimately can just cut it out. As close as you can to the start of your project. You can just cut. Like that. Besides, it's on the underside. No one's going to see it anyway, unless you like turn your piece upside down and be like, look what I made! Like I do sometimes. We are also going to knot this back through. Just to get it out of the way. It's going to be a little trickier to find it. You can do it by feel if you're me. If you're not me, you don't have to crochet over your ends like I do. If it makes it easier for you to weave them in later. For something so short, you stick your needle in first and then you pull it through. Like then you thread it and pull this through. Otherwise, it gets a little tough. If you want extra security and you're not sure you found the stitch that you wanted or the yarn that you wanted, you can do what I'm doing. Pull it through like this and then come back through one more time. There we go. There we go. This was also a trick that Nanny taught me. Nanny was not a crocheter, Nanny was a knitter, but yet I still learned the darning tricks there. My dad also taught me a lot of tricks for this. And my dad's the one that went to craft fairs with crochet and stuff, so I learned a lot of tricks there. Alright, now we have an orb. Orb! Welcome in, Lisa, and thanks! Thanks for the birthday wishes! Oh, I'm glad you enjoy my singing. You're going to hear a lot more of it. Usually what I'm doing is listening to Spotify when I'm doing this, so you know. Alright, now we're going to use buttons for eyes, but you can use anything. You can use beads, you can use buttons, you can even just embroider the details on. Where's my thread? That's scrap thread. Is this the actual end of this thread? Uh-oh. That's also scrap thread? Okay. Yeah, okay, that's the actual end of this thread. The thread that I'm using is DMC. It's cotton pearl. I can't read the rest because this is a new ball. I use two different types of it. This stuff is a little thicker, and it's what I use for my embroidery usually on my, it's what sewed the little mouth on there. And this stuff is primarily what I use for sewing on details, especially if it's not going to like a child or something, or it's just for me. It's a little thinner, so it tends to fit through the buttons or the beads better. So that's what I usually use for this stuff. For this one, I'm feeling like I want to get a little bit funky with it. Like I want to do something fun with the eyes. Yeah, let's give them white centers. Now, instead of going crazy and sewing things on immediately, you don't. I'm glad you're going feral for a silly horror podcast. I guessed this would happen the minute I met I met Annabelle Kane first, obviously, but you started describing people, especially Shamura, and I was like, Val's gonna love Annabelle. Val's gonna love Annabelle so much. Ooh, grilling a cheese. We love grilled cheese. Wish I had grilled cheese. I don't, though. We don't need it. Now, right, speaking of things we don't need our buttons all misaligned and funky. We don't want one button down there and one button up here. Unless we're making like a slime that's melting. So we want our buttons to be aligned, but we don't want our buttons to fall out of place if we turn our work to work on it. So, what we do, and where they come in handy, this is where you need your dressmaker's pins, or your pearlized pins. I find the ones with the little pearl tops work best for this. You're going to need 4 of them to hold buttons in place. Eh. 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 And this way you can also test what you want to, like, what you want things to look like too. So, do I want my button backwards like this? Maybe. Yeah, I think I do. This button has a ridge around it, as most dress buttons do. It has a ridge around sort of the edge there. So I'm going to flip it around backwards because I like that smoother look. Going to place it roughly where I think it should go. And then you put a pin in here and a pin in there. You can't see that that I've done this, but those pins are crossed over on the inside. They're making an X. And that is so that they don't come undone as easily, because if they're in just a straight line, they'll just fall out if you squeeze the project or do anything to it. Alright, now if I were an octopus, I would want that lined up. Whoa! Come back here! We're not playing Tiddlywinks. Come on now. Hello? Excuse me? Okay, that's not a bad placement, I think. Yeah, that's alright. Those are about even. Yeah. Okay. I don't have much white left, but we're going to use it for this because I have decided that I think it would look cool. Now, I don't have button needles. Button needles are cool because instead of being a needle like this, they just curve. They're U-shaped. I don't have any. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to work with a straight one. Now this is where that sawing motion and just threading it up through comes in. Come on. I would like all of the needle. Yeah, that's the ticket. Okay. Yeah. Now, you don't need very much thread for this, but I do still use my scrap thread. When I'm done with it. So don't worry if you see me cutting a bit away. That's normal. This should be enough for 2 buttons on something this small. Come here, you. There we go. We love the sweet spot on the scissors. The way that I tie the knots off on the end of mine is I grab the tip of the end of the thread, bring it around my finger, and then just tie like a fisherman's knot through there. I don't know if this is supposed to be called a fisherman's knot. It's what Grampy always called it. Oh, oops. Well, time to learn if that's a real thing or if I just made it up. Da, da, da. And if it is a real thing, if it's the same real thing. One of these little guys? These little guys are usually $15 to $20 Canadian, depending on like the level of detail and shenanigans you want me to do. A plain little guy is probably going to be like $15 Canadian, but something like this, where I had to crochet with my magnifying glasses on, is probably going to run you like 20. Just because this detail of these rainbow glasses was... Just trust me that it was very difficult and very fiddly. This stuff is crocheted with a 1mm hook. You've seen that it takes me about 2 hours to put one of these guys together. It took me 2 hours to get these hearts. Oh yeah, give or take. Oh, it certainly is. But here's the way it works. When you go to a craft fair, what you have to consider is the amount that people will actually pay for little things like this. Most people, when they come to a craft fair, are going to pay like $5 or $10 for something like this. They might go up as far as 15, and for something complicated or custom, they'll probably go to 20. And the reason that you consider that is because when you're at a craft fair, you're also selling great big blankets. You're probably also selling a couple of big ticket items. Blankets, a bag or a purse, something chonky. So it's true that the dishcloths and the little like doilies and things are probably by time worth like $30 by themselves if you were going to pay yourself $15 minimum wage. But at the same time, you can sell those for like $3 to $5. And then when people come over to buy your dishcloths, they come back around and go, also, that blanket is really cool. And you're like, yep, $200. And they go, wow, that's still really cool. You know what? Let me get to the ATM. I'll be right back. And then they come back and they purchase it. That's the trick of it. I don't know the exact term for, like, there's an economics term for that, where you sell one thing for below cost so that you can sell a bigger thing for above cost, and make your profit off the bigger things. 'Cause like, so I still do commissions. I take them still. People will commission me for very small things like this because they see me working on them. And then I'll make something like that, and they'll come back and be like, so my boyfriend really loved that little Pokemon you made him. Can you make me this bigger, more custom thing from the video game he likes? And I'll be like, heck yes I can. Gonna be like $50 or $60. And they'll be like, okay! And that's just sort of the trick to it. I'm probably giving things away a little bit, but you know what? We're learning to crochet. We might as well learn how to sell that crochet too. Though this is just a hobby of mine. It's one that I like take commissions on because I've done it for so long and I love doing it. It is not one that I would want to do as like a permanent job, I think. Maybe. Potentially, but... Anyway. Once you get the eye sort of in place, you can start taking out the pins because it'll be really hard to sew by them. Because they are still in there. You will still meet them as you stitch. I find that it is best to have 2 loops through each eye hole, like through each eye of this. You only really need 1 to put it in the right place, but 2 is more secure in case 1 breaks. And this thread doesn't tend to, but boy howdy if it did. Or if you're using like, this thread's expensive. If you're using cheaper thread, then you want a little extra security like that. It can be a little tricky without button needles, but like you can see, I'm still doing fine. Still making it work. Making it work. Do, 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 do. And you do that by being a little bit fiddly with your work and just kind of like, part of it is just feeling it out too. And then we've got that in place. Now we do one more check on this eye to make sure that it's in a good spot when we kind of mess around with our little octopus. I still like where it is, but if you didn't for some reason, or if this had been jostled out of place by its stitching, which happens sometimes, you could then move the other one around a little bit to see if it's got a better place to be. You should still commission for it. Like, if you're drawing, still do it. Heckin' do it. Because it's fun. If you want to. Like I said, you do not have to. There's no law that says you have to. Sometimes you just like something because it's fun to do. I will say that the calculation table I use when I'm selling these things is materials plus half time. Normally. So I figure out how much my materials cost for it, and then add half of the time that I spent on it. And that's usually enough for people to be like, okay, that's fine. For art, I would charge double time for it. Whatever that happens, these are in the way. Whatever that happens to be. Although, I'm not the one to quote on that, because I am not a digital artist. Or rather, I'm not one that takes commissions and has to figure out how money works for digital art. There we go. Uh-oh. Why didn't you pull through so good, huh? Tighten off. Why won't you tighten off, huh? What's going on? Oh, I know why. No, I'll sew it down. What can happen sometimes, and what just happened to me, is sometimes you stitch through the thread from the previous time and you make an accidental French knot. That's what I did. Wait. Yeah, that's what I did. I'm just going to sew it down because it doesn't matter. If this was going to someone, I would cut it out and do this again. Or try and find the... Come on now. Or try and find the spot that I messed up and pull the needle back through. I can do that from time to time, which is a pretty cool trick. It's fun at parties! I'm really good at untangling stuff, especially really tiny stuff. So people will come by with their headphone wires that are an absolute mess and be like, I can't get it undone. Can you fix it? I don't know what to do. It's just so tight, and like it was in my pocket for like 6 months, and I just want to listen to music through my headphones, and now I don't know what to, and by the time they're done whining about it, it's back in their hands untangled. Which, like I said, great trick at parties. Okay, now we've got to find that little hole. Good, because we're going to have to shove this knot back in. Okay. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Okay, we did it. We made a little loop. We got our needle through it. That's how we're going to make our knot. Now, if you don't keep your nails like I do, quite long, there is a little thing that you can get. It's part of most sewing kits. It looks like a little spoon for feeding sea monkeys. What it's for is you put it, you see where that end is, you put it over top, like I'm doing with my hands, and then you pull the thread, and then all it does is hold the knot in place so that you can tie it tight and very, very close to your work. I have long enough nails that I don't care about using something like that. I don't need to. because I keep my keep some claws on me, just in case you need them. You gotta sometimes. Cut that fairly close. Badunk. And then I'll use the darning needle to shove it back in because it's easier. Using the actual sewing needle can work, but it's so small that sometimes it doesn't. And then get that back in there. Get these back in there. Don't you fall into that. You're made of vinyl and you're filled with something questionable. And then boom! You got eyes on your octopus. Eyeballs on your octopus. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, you guys are playing turf and they had 3 arrow sprays. I am so sorry for your loss. 9 and 1 and 4 sodas? Yeah, you're good at the video game, I should say. You've got it covered. Okay. Now, there's a few things you can do from here now that you've got some eyes on your octopus. You can stitch a mouth on like I did. You can, if you want, give your octopus kissy face. This is to be a particularly big kissy face, but you can. I'm gonna. Because I'm feeling fun today. Okay. There we go. That's the other end. We're going to give this octopus kissy face. After all, my sun-dwelling cousins always get kissy face in manga and anime when they're cute, so I might as well make this one cute. Give them kissy face. Why not, I guess. You can puff out the kissy face, or you can just do one layer, which is all I'm going to do. Now, we need a much longer thread than I left for the other ones, because we're going to sew this on. The other thing that we need to do is hide this appropriately. So, this can be tricky because it's so small. I already know that I'm going to be able to hold this in place very well, so I don't need multiple pins to fix it. But if you're not sure, put 2 pins in it like you did for the buttons and just cross them over, and that way you won't have to worry about like accidentally shifting it out of position or whatever. All right. Now, the other thing that we can do is we can take this end and wind it reverse around the pin underneath. And this will add a little bit of bounce and lift to our little kissy face, to our little kissy-faced friend. Now, when I sew these things on, instead of coming down through the top of this and then going up and down and so on, I start by bringing this into the actual work and coming up through. You can go either way. It does not matter. The end look might be a little bit different if you whip stitch it the other way. But I find it's easier to sew into the pattern first and then like into the base first and then out through the pattern you're attaching. The applique, if you will, which is technically what this is. An applique is something that you make to, apply to the pattern that you're working on. Bloop. Okay. You want to try and find spots when you're stitching like this that are close to where the stitch you want to attach is, or rather to the place you want to attach it, because it'll go wherever you put your stitch. So if you put your stitch like way over here somewhere and you want that stitch, or like way over here, it's going to try to stretch to go that far. Or you'll just have like a long line where you tried to get it to do that. And that doesn't quite work out. It can if that's what you want to go for. Like sometimes that's a look you want. It's not one we want here, but sometimes it is. It can be. Especially for Halloween patterns, it's a really good way to get like scarring and bleeding going on. You just like stitch way over here with something, bring it back, and then you've got like a cool like thing like that, so you can get some nice like scars. Makeup for certain dolls can work that way too. If you wanted to make like Ember or something, you could get her eyeliner that way. Danny Phantom references, always timely. Always timely, right? Right. Nothing like a reference to a cartoon from so long ago. You guys expect that of me at this point. Pretty sure. And that should be that. Yep, that's the kissy face. Now the trick is to hide the thread, which can be really difficult if it's a magic ring like this, but you can still do it. Just the same as you did before. You find your stitches, you stitch in underneath them. And then you just come back out. Same as you did before. Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Oh no, a little crispy. He's fine. He's fine. We'll shape him back out. And then you just, because this is already fastened and secured, it's fine. You just kind of pull it back through the actual piece. You do not have to do this part. You can just cut it close to where it is. I like to do this part because I find it hides the end better. Oh no, wait, I still need that. Where's the thing I don't need? There it is. Then you snip that, stuff it in. It's held in place by friction. This is inside there. I'm going to pull this through too. You don't have to. You can cut it off and then just stuff it right in there, because it should stay. But I'm going to pull it through, just because that's what I've done to literally all the other ones. So through it goes. Oh wait, I'm crazy. I'm going to pull it through here first, because that will help sew the stuff that's in the middle into place. And keep it there so that it doesn't come out. Then you pull it through. Silly me. Trying to finish my work in a weird way. Okay. Okay. There we go. He's beautiful. One of my sun-dwelling cousins. Bloop, 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 bloop. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, we didn't start the fire, eh? How much of Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire" did you live through? The answer is going to surprise all of you. And yes, Val, I absolutely knew how you would feel about Martin, because I know the kind of person that you are, and I know the kind of people that are on Tumblr, so I was like, Val is instantly going to be like, this is the best person who's in this podcast. Oh, welcome in, Kira. I'm sorry I missed you. I was focusing really hard on this octopus. Yeah, this one is a bright color so that it shows up on camera so that I can teach people how to make octopi. This one's a Dumbo octopus. You can tell by the little ears. This one is one of my sun-dwelling cousins. I am normally a little octopus in the bottom corner. All right. Yeah, people have still been coming by to ask questions. Not necessarily always the ones I expected, but still coming by to ask me stuff, which is nice. And yes, you guys work together very well because of the roles in the game. Val, you are absolutely a support, and DPS. DPS stands for damage per second, but DPS players just do big damage. I'm a DPS. I'm a DPS in every game I play. Support? Never heard of it. Supporter? Hardly met her. I just like to hit things real hard. You guys have seen me do that when I play the video games. I have to look up my history lessons to know how much of We Didn't Start the Fire I lived through. The answer is at least some of it. Was I alive for Reagan? I think I was alive for Reagan. Yeah, I was alive for Reagan existing and being president. Because he was best buds with Brian Mulroney, who was our prime minister at the time in those days. Yeah. That's why we don't have NASA in Canada. Mulroney makes questionable choices. Now, I do not have time to make another thing. I was considering making another thing, an autre thing, one more thing, because I have really cute blue yarn. It looks like this. It's very nice blue yarn. It's also shiny and shimmery like the pink is. Oh, I've laid him down quite nicely in that blue flower. Let me just brush this all out of the way. He's beautiful. Oh, he's beautiful. What a good picture. What a lovely little man. Perfect. Perfect in every way. Anyway, I don't have time to make another thing. So, what I'm going to do instead is show you my favorite pincushion that I've ever made. And then we'll play a tiny little bit of Aminal Crossing. So, you guys have seen my cute little pincushion that I keep in my travel case. It's this guy here. I did some cool stuff to it. I'm going to put it back in my travel case, so don't forget that I took it out. You know that I'll forget that I took it out and be like, where is it? Where's my nice thing? But my favorite pincushion that I have ever made is part of a set of things that I made for myself. This is a mushroom. It does stand up by itself if you're careful with it. So it's super fun. I love it a lot. The mushroom pattern's one I made myself. It's one of the first things I made myself. I'm not going to do it because this is covered in pins, but if you understuff these and make the top a little taller, you can make a fidget toy where you push the bottom in and pull it out and push it in and pull it out and so on and so forth. It takes like an hour for me to work up, and it's a lot of fun. Just to play with them. I don't have one on hand, but like they are a lot of fun to play with. Oh, that can go back in its case. Oh, I should show you guys the mermaids. I probably never showed you the mermaids. And at the risk of knocking literally everything over about my my light. Please don't jostle this too much. We good? Kinda. Close enough. This is how I make dolls. Sorry, her other ear didn't come out good. I mean, it came out the way it was supposed to, but like it just was kind of curled over. This is how I make dolls. Um, this is the best attempt at my avatar I could make. At the time, I was wearing the curly hair, so I did the curly hair up. Those are the little tags from the punk blacks, punk midnights, and the leather jacket. I put my rainbow glasses on. Nintendo will never give me my rainbow glasses. And I put the suckers on as buttons, which I thought was a pretty good idea. One of these days, I'll show you guys how to make dolls. They're not super complicated or anything. There's just a lot of little moving parts that can make them seem super complicated. Dolls like this tend to go for like 40 or 50 bucks. I know that part of me is like, oh, they seem kind of small to do that for, but the rest of me is like, okay, but this still took me 8 hours though. So, 6 or 8 hours. That's Canadian, of course. Like, you guys are American. You'll have to convert appropriately. Yeah, don't panic. I don't know what that would be in American. I think it's probably like 35 or 40 American, something like that. Oh yeah, I know what else I should show you guys. I'm going to mute my mic, and I'm going to come back with the carousel of evolutions. And mermaids, because you guys seem to be excited about the mermaids. Give me a hot second. We'll mute this, and I will be right back. Okay, I return. I'm back. Okay, I will bring you the mermaids first because they're cute. Um, where are you? Nope, I was right the first time. Maybe. Okay, these are the mermaids. Quite fond of them. I made them for Mermay one year and then forgot to post them for Mermay of that year. Because of course I did. I'm very fond of them. They got kelp hair and they got long foushy hair, as one does. I made the pattern myself. All of my patterns are patterns I've made myself, I suppose I should clarify. Because oftentimes I can't find what I want. Though, that said, they are often made out of patterns that I learned at some point. The mermaid tail, for instance, this tail figure right here, comes from a book of crochet miniatures. This was used for a whale tail. The cone comes from a book of desserts I have. It was an ice cream cone. The way that my hair is done comes from a doll pattern that I learned years ago. No, that's you. That's a you problem. OBS is fine. Sorry, Val. Those are the mermaids. Now, the carousel won't fit in shot. It's much too big. But I will show you all the evolutions that I can muster. These are older pieces, so the embroidery is questionable. But this is Evie. Little pillbox Evie. Of questionable embroidery. Let me move that out of the way. Which I'm quite fond of. I'm sorry, Val. You get to see this beautiful little creature in 1080p. Oh, wait. Let me get the appropriate evolutions first. But they're all done up in little pillbox form. Little pill form. You'll have to bear with them because they've been out about on my desk where I like to keep them in their carousel. But you've got your Vaporeon, your Jolteon, and your Flareon. Not in that order. They got little tails on them. Vaporeon's tail was especially fun to do. Jolteon doesn't need a tail. Jolteon just gets tail spikes. Butt spikes! Autofocus, what are you doing? There we go. You've got your Umbreon and your Espeon. Espeon also has a cool tail. And Umbreon has the rings sewn in. Looking classy. You got your Glaceon and your Leafeon. Glaceon came out especially round, I think, which works out. They got their little tails on and everything. And of course, what Eevees would be complete without Nintendo Says Trans Rights, Sylveon. There is a mouth back there. It's hard to see, but it is there. And the little tail. I didn't realize Sylveon's tail was so short. I was sure I was going to have to make another ribbon. But nope, Sylveon just has a tiny little tail. Those are all the evolutions. And while I was ducked out, here we go. We have my Easter rabbits and their eggs. This is the girl rabbit. You can tell because she's got a flower and bigger eyes. Her hands are sewn together because she has a basket. The basket is actually functional. It will hold objects. You can put stuff in there. I like to put little candies in there for people, little wrapped candies like Werther's and stuff. She is technically freestanding, if you're careful with her, because her basket will help her stay up, which is a cool trick that she does. Stay up. Her head's a little heavy, but she can do it. The boy rabbit used to have a basket, but it was a wooden craft basket, so he doesn't anymore because the handle broke. I'll make him one eventually and give him another one. This one, oh, and they do have little bunny tails, I forgot. Weep. You can tell he's a boy rabbit because he's got smaller eyes and no little ribbon. Alright, I'll see you tomorrow, Val. Girl Rabbit Beastars reference. Lol. And the other things we've got are jokes. This is the Easter seal. I don't know if you guys have them, but we have a thing called Easter seals, which are these little stamps that come around every year at Easter. They're like for charity and stuff. This is the Easter seal. He lays very flat. Like completely flat on the ground. I did him up in such a way that he would do that. Also, this is a good example of the zipper effect that happens when you slip stitch to your round. That's what this is. It's on his belly, so it didn't matter, but like that's what that is. And this is something I made for a friend. Ryu made a different design for themselves for their red panda. And I saw that one in the morning and was like, that's amazing. And by like 9 o'clock that evening, there was this. And I love it a lot. That is a hoodie. It's hard to tell, but like these are little hoodie danglies. Is what those are. And I love this a lot, especially since I settled into doing hair. Doing the braid was like more fun than I thought it would be. Anyway, you guys have seen all my fun little bits of crochet and art and such. I am going to, because I normally am a video game channel, I'm going to clean all this stuff up off my desk, and we're going to play just a little bit of Animal Crossing, because guess what? Animal Crossing villagers know it's my birthday too! And they should be allowed to find out, I should be allowed to find out who my Animal Crossing best friend is. So I'm going to clean this stuff up, and then I'm going to set up the Switch. Just a little bit of Animal Crossing. A petite bit of Animal Crossing. For a treat. Alright, that means no more hands. This is the last of the hands. No more hands. I go back to being myself. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, this is much better. Wah! Goodness gracious, it's hard to hold a form with hands. Did you know it's hard to hold a form with hands? 'Cause it's hard to hold a form with hands. Don't like it. But it was still fun. Did you guys all have fun, like, crocheting along with me? Or just, like, watching me do it and having fun just chatting? Because, like, my lighting is questionable at best. But I do have fun doing that with all of you. And I don't mind doing more of it if that's what you guys want to see. That's the trick of it. If it's what you want to see, by golly, I'll figure it out. I'll figure out lighting. I'll learn the magic. Yep. Come on. Nope. Fight me. Fight me. Pencil case. Wah! This is so much harder without hands. I shouldn't have turned back so soon. Ooh, ah. Especially around the holidays, I have a whole lot of things that I need to make. Because I make everyone's holiday presents. And every year I make a little ornament for everybody. And that stuff's really boring and repetitive. And I don't need to pay good attention to it. So if you guys want to hang out with me while I do it on Twitch, then I am happy enough to do that with you. Let me get everything cleared away. Oh, you gotta go back in there. See, the thing is, I had to clear out where my Switch was sitting so that I could show you guys this stuff. So if I have to put everything back in order. Oh, we'll put that back up properly later. You guys can scoot over here. And over there. And our new friend, my sun-loving cousin, we'll take a picture of him later because he needs a name. Okay. And that's the scraps out of the way. Those scraps get saved in a little container that I will use later. It's a special tool that will help us later. Na-na. Bunk. Bunk. Heck yeah! All right. Oh, I'm glad you had so much fun with this. Oh, good. Oh, I'm glad you guys are having fun. We will do more crochet with Grandma. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I like doing it a lot. Okay, we gotta set the date and time appropriately. And we're gonna find out who our best friend is. Because that's who throws your party in Animal Crossing. Blah! Can't forget that one stitch marker. There we go. Okay. This is also going to be a good test for me because I haven't really gotten out the this new headset to test with the with everything else. Oh, welcome in, Origin. I'm glad your internet has decided to be kind now. Good for it. Yeah, I know how quickly you draw. You draw very quickly indeed. All right, let's get the switch up. All right. And I'm gonna change the stream info too, because I can't forget we're doing some Animal Crossing. Oh no, wait, shoot. It's just this that needs to change. There we go. Fixed it. Animal Crossing! It's true. We're gonna do a little bit of it because I want to know who my best Animal Crossing friend is. I think it's Dell. I bet it's Dell. Almost certainly Dell. Origin, we get you. All the times I say, fellas, I'm gonna need you to move. Or, guys, gender neutral. Don't you worry. There we go. Island superstar Evie is also celebrating a birthday today. That's me! Happy birthday! Hooray! Oh yeah, almost 100%. It's Dell, guys! Okay, we gotta follow him, he says. Oh, wow. Sorry you have to hear me adjusting them sometimes. I'm still getting used to the new headset. It's really good, though. I'm surprised to see Alfonso here, but I'm glad Petrie's here. Hi, Petrie! Okay. Darn right I did. It's present time. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Okay. It's a piñata. Okay, we're gonna bust it open. Aww. I bet it's science, Petrie. Okay. Hit it real quick and just as hard as it can. Yes! Strawberry shortcake is the best! Oh! When I was drawing the first year emote, I was going to draw a cake with a 1 on it. And the cake I was drawing was a strawberry shortcake. Strawberries are the best fruit. And biscuits and angel cake are both delicious. It doesn't matter which you use for strawberry shortcake necessarily. And whipped cream is my favorite thing. Not my favorite thing. Custard is my favorite thing. But sometimes you put custard in shortcake. And it's so good. It's so good. It was such a cute drawing, too. I was really excited. I did not communicate that well in text because I was also very tired. But it was really good. Okay. We're gonna smash the heck out of it. Come on. Whew. I want like 10 cupcakes. 8 or 10 cupcakes. Birthday cupcakes! Everybody gets cupcakes. Can I give you a birthday cupcake? Wow, Petrie! You are, Alfonso. Honey, you were suggesting things for you. Do I have joy? I have delight. I probably have it, I just don't see it. Yeah, I do. Okay, I'm immediately off to give these out. Yeah! I saw you must have put extra effort and time into it. You did a good job. You did a really good job. Now, Mint got me some things. I need to find... Oh, that one I must have shot down. It's Bunny Day. Did you guys know it's on the way? Party floor! Right, of course. Now, when I was at Mint's island, I was granted some nice things. So I've got to take off this wetsuit and add some things to my existing wardrobe outfits. And I'm going to go give cupcakes to the villagers. Edit wand outfits. This one first. Mint has granted me a sword and a scabbard. 2 of them. Boy, howdy, we're gonna carry that sword. Oh yeah, that's the ticket right there. Done. Oh, I skipped by that. Oh, also, I've been working on Petrie's little area. I'll show you guys. Oh, oops. Ah! Biscuit! Biscuit! You did. Yes, sweetie, you did. It is my birthday, honey. That's probably why. Oh, he brought me an orange! Makes sense, it's Biscuit. Going right in storage. Biscuit, honey, I don't actually want you to stay. I have places to be, buddy. What a cutie. It should feel like underwater in here. I even have the underwater ambience going. You can hear the echo. Ooh, a fun fact, eh? Let's see, let's see. Haha, it's my birthday. Let's see. See ya, Biscuit. Oh, that one's good. Triscuit. So, you've all probably seen Triscuits on the shelf. Oh, I guess I can just put these in storage. There's a bunch there already. You've all probably seen Triscuits on the shelf. And a number of you are probably thinking, well, it's just probably triple or tri and biscuit smushed together. Here's the thing. That's not where the name comes from. Somebody did a whole heckin' lot of digging, trying to get in touch with anybody who would know what it was, what was going on. It turns out that Triscuit, back in 1929, was one of the first sort of hard snacks, like crackers or shredded wheat or that sort of thing, that was heated in an electric oven. So, Triscuit is actually short for electricity biscuit, because they were cooked by electricity. I do not do any skincare stuff. My hands are like that because that's just kind of how they are. I'm very lucky. Though, I will say, if they do get dry or I'm doing a lot of hard work, like hard labor with my hands, almost anything with shea butter into it is real good. For me, anyway. It tends to moisturize them very well, especially in the wintertime, if they decide to be cracked. But honestly, the best thing that I do for me is drink water. That's literally it. Drink water and don't wash my hands to death. I say that. I mean, obviously you wash up when you're dirty and you wash up before meals, but like, just don't hurt yourself, I guess. Alright, now I gotta go on an adventure and find all my villagers. Yeah, honestly, drinking water is good enough, usually, to solve most of your problems. Especially once you stop being a teenager. Once you're past being a teenager, you can just drink water. Be alright. Or at least I can. Happy birthday, Judy! Here's a birthday cupcake. Everybody gets a birthday cupcake. Because I know they'll give me something back. I'm going to show you what I did decorating around Petrie's little area. While I'm thinking of it. This isn't the direction anymore. Petrie's house has moved. Bang! This is where Petrie lives now. Petrie is studying the moss. As you can tell. These moss balloons are intended to look like big moss spores. That's the idea here. And as you can further tell, the gyroids take on roughly the color of the thing that they're near. That's what we've decided. That's what I've decided. Anyway, I'm gonna go see if Petrie will take this. Mint is making me a moss shelf with like the jars of moss on it. Oh, Sasha! Oh! Sasha, like Bloom, really wants to tell me happy birthday. Oh, I'm glad, sweetie. Oh! That's right! Everybody gives me a present! Sasha's so cute! I'm glad chat made me take Sasha home. Trans icon Sasha can come home with us. Good work, chat. We saw Sasha twice, and the second time you were like, "You're taking Sasha home," and I was like, "I am," and you were like, "Yeah." Good work, everybody. Oh! We're scaring bugs away. We don't care. I saw the message bottle out there, don't you worry. I know Sasha's not home. Oh, wait, we have to keep track of who we've given cupcakes to. We got Sasha. We got Petrie. And we got Judy. Okay. Let's go look and see if Sprocket's home. Oh, the Bunny Day bottle as well. Nope, not at home. There's Sprinkle, though. Doing the airplane runs, as usual. As Sprinkle is wont to do. Sprinkle! Sprinkle? Sprinkle? Where did you... Oh, there you are. I will. Here, take a cupcake. Oh, Anka. Yeah, I love the Egyptian cat lady. She's very nice. I want Raymond here. It's no longer Fierre's birthday, everybody go. Silly. It's my birthday as long as I say it's my birthday. I'm gonna give Animal Crossing villagers their presents. Aw, thanks, Sprinkle. Well, Sprocket's fishing, so we can't do anything about that. Did I give a cupcake to Biscuit? No, Biscuit wouldn't take one because Biscuit was in my home. Biscuit! Eat this! Eat this cupcake. I keep bumping my mic. Because it's in a weird position now. And it's a different mic. So I keep bumping it because I'm dodging the old one. I can hear you. Where are you? Gotcha! Where did... Okay. Dell's sitting and therefore will not give me anything nice. That was from the balloon. Dell and Sprocket are still on the list. We got Judy. Oopsie doodle. Whoa! Okay! Alfonso, my boy! Free cupcake! Okay, little buddy. What is it? We'll open these later. Technically, we're not actually back where we were a year ago, buddy. Because our sun is also orbiting a thing. I hear that. No, it's up here. Oh, right, I forgot it's this time of year, too. I know I just said not too long ago that my birthday falls on or around Bunny Day quite regularly. But it does fall on or around Bunny Day quite regularly. Here, take this, buddy. Welcome in, chair stand! Today we were celebrating my birthday. And I'm just cleaning up my Animal Crossing celebration stuff. Earlier we were doing a whole lot of crochet. Right. Who are we missing? We got Alfonso. Oh, we're missing Dell and Sprocket for sure. Couldn't do anything about those two. Oh, and Zucker. Zucker's the other one. And I think Zucker is probably home. Thanks! Thanks for the birthday wishes. Let's go see Zucker. He's a good little guy. Oh no. We are a family-friendly channel. I will warn you of that first. What are you doing, buddy? Oh, a shell fountain! I do like the shell fountains. Those are cool. There we go, buddy. Eat up, little guy. A birthday cupcake! It looks so yummy! Aww. Now it's just Dell and Sprocket who need their presents. I don't. I'm an octopus. Whoop. Okay, let's see if they've moved on from what they were doing. Awkwardly, they have, but not good enough. It's 'cause I'm blue. Let's hear it. Oh yeah, that's right. KK Slider's here not because it's a Saturday, because it isn't. It's Monday. It's KK birthday time. I almost forgot. Oh, it's time.
Me, now, me, wait, now, me, wait, now,
Aww. Sasha. So other people can write you messages in here too? It doesn't have to just be your villagers. Last year we wrote silly messages on each other's. They're cute. I'm just so surprised Alfonso was there, because I'm like, please leave my island, buddy. I don't hate you, but I would like you to go. You're taking up space that could be taken up by Lily. Yay! I'm just so glad. I had such a fun time for my birthday. We played Cards Against Humanity, because of course we did. And, you guys saw the combo I got. I took a picture of it. It was really cute. Completely accurate. It's also what won that hand. As king, how will I keep my subjects in line? A complete inability to understand anyone else's perspective. Yay, we did it! I was legitimately worried I wouldn't be 3 stars by now. Go back to Angopolis. No, Alfonso's from a Mario game. Don't you sit back down yet. I can't catch both of you, but I can catch one of you. Couldn't catch Del in time. But I've got to, because otherwise I won't remember. Oh, hey, a Bunny Day topiary. Stadium lights, exit sign. Hello, topiary. Oh, right, I don't have any money. Val, there are plenty of tests for that. Heck, there's U-quizzes about it. Tangy! A cardboard table, sweetie. I already know that DIY. Oh, Bunny Day rug. I do like the Bunny Day things. Actually, you know what? Why don't I just put all the birthday presents up here? There. Boys, I'm coming back for that topiary. What did you get? I'm gonna have to write a U-quiz for you all. Listen, everyone who listens to the podcast is eye-aligned. That's just how it is. There's nothing to be done about it. And besides, you could be aligned to multiple entities. That's a thing. That's a plot relevant thing that can happen to you. Darn it. I guess I could check the Able Sisters shop and see if they have anything out. That's interesting. While I wait for Dell to get up. Exactly! I may have to go and fetch some dollars. Excuse me. That wig comes with different colored bows. That's true. I have a lot of Magnus fanfiction. I went to the trouble of writing an AU. Because we know that there are other places like the Magnus Institute around. So I went to the trouble of writing an AU. Because I was like, well, if America has one, then Canada gets one too, okay? That's just how it is. That is how it is, I decided. So I wrote a whole bunch of statements for something called the DeMille Organization. With a different archivist. So it's an AU where the Magnus Institute just isn't, or more accurately, isn't as important as it was. I can't explain why necessarily, but I promise. Sold to the cute little raccoon man. Yeah, so instead of the archivist being John, I have Evie as the archivist. Or rather, head of historical research. I can send you statements, like I can send you that fiction, but there may or may not be spoilers in it, and I won't be able to tell if they're spoilers, because I've listened to the whole Magnus archives and I don't remember what's spoilers and what's not. Then again, I think you've been through the wiki, so I think you probably spoiled yourself. Well, yeah, of course it's Evie. I have a character I routinely use that I put into things. Let me in. Knock, knock. Got plenty of leather jackets. Oh, golly, that's too much. We got the pleather pants that match. What's this? Oh, figure skating costume. Oh, wait. Nope. Purple is the color. Zap suit. I knew it. It comes with different ribbon colors. I have the red one. Green's too dim. White's nice. Black's good too. That pink is way pink. I think I like that white. Oh, everyday tights are back in stock. Gangster about town. But this was what I was here for. Yet another reason I'm very eye-aligned. Exactly. You like to know things. I know, specifically, that you specifically get bothered and upset when you don't know things. That's very I behavior. Extremely I-aligned behavior. What on earth? Oh, I rolled over it, that's why. One of my cords was stretched a little tight, and I was like, oh no! Because I rolled over it a little bit. It's fine. Detective at large. Gangster about town. Nothing in between. Oh, sorry, that's in between. Salesman down on his luck. Fedoras can say so many things. We love a hat. Oh, this one with a little white card in it says press. Do the cute shoes look better with this? Nah, not really. No, I want this one. I'll make an outfit out of it. Oh, you're right. I should go to Brewster for a coffee. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da. You guys still sitting here? Ah! I need Del to stand up so I can talk to him. Wait, there is a way to do this. Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna get this. We're gonna catch him before he can sit down. We can do this. Also, you guys won't see it for a little bit, but today I finally got out of the Celeste B-side I was in. And I'm very pleased with myself that I've beat a B-side. I did it. I was like, I'm gonna try Celeste and maybe I'll be okay at it. It took me entirely too long to beat that B-side, but I did do it. Ah, welcome in, Momo! You're back! Congrats on being back. Maybe even from work. I'm cleaning up some Animal Crossing things. Do 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 do. Next thing I'm going to invest in is getting a good microphone. Not that my headset mic is terrible or anything, it's hypothetically very good, but the next thing I'm going to invest in is a mic. For the channel. Isn't it cute? Oh, I'm sorry the wind was crazy. I'm really just trying to catch Del standing so I can give him a cupcake. It is my birthday after all. Yeah! Thank you, Momo! One sec, we gotta do a quick time event. Don't you dare sit down. Don't you dare sit down. Sir, I am giving you a present. Got him. Also, Val, do you mean of the main archive staff? Or do you mean in general? TBH, either way, the answer is Jürgen Leitner. Jürgen Leitner. Technically, he's not main archive staff. Can't explain why. Just that he's not very good in a fight himself. Hey, Sasha, what are you doing getting coffee, sweetie? Oh, okay. Good enough. Thank you for reminding me that I needed coffee from Brewster. I will forget every single time. Let me just tuck some wires away. Oh, I see what I did. There. Alright. Since you all seem to like, I know, right? He does such a good job. Since you all seem to like crochet streams, I'll find a way to work them in for you. We'll pick a day. We'll pick a day, and I'll do some before I do this, or I'll do video games, and then we'll do some crochet or something. I'll give you guys some little patterns to pick. At least I'm not playing Squeezer. You see why I don't play Squeezer, though, right? Like, look at that. You can see what crochet does to my hands. I'll get my sister to paint my nails up next time, because I've got, like you saw, I've got fairly long nails. Whether they're long or short, I'll get her to paint them up, because she likes to do nail art. Yeah, it's my birthday! March 25th is my birthday! Aw, I hope you have fun rewatching the stream. If you want sort of a more scripted explanation of how to crochet, I did do like a few little short YouTube videos about it, but I never bothered to come back and do my amigurumi stuff because I just wasn't thinking. And I was tired of setting up lighting. It's very difficult. Birthday candles! Birthday shades! Bath towel wrap. Thick striped shirt. Uh-huh. Huh, that's weird. I thought they gave you more birthday stuff. Birthday stuff. Tiny party cap. How tiny are we talking? Oh, it's cute! Oh, and there was another present box. Funny Day Mary balloons. Nice. Oh, yeah, no, I know that some folks are made to keep their nails short because of their job. Oh wait, I have to learn that one. I don't know it yet. When I worked at Tim Hortons, I used to have to keep my nails short. Because Tim's is such that you can't have them long because it's food service. I was so sad. The minute I got an office job, I was like, yeah, done, sold. We're having nice nails. We're gonna have good, nice nails. It made it a little more annoying to type. But TBH, worth it. At the... Oh, it's tangy on a little strawberry cake. They can play farewell. Oh, yeah. The thing about... Well, I mean, first of all, I already have a degree. But the way that we operate was my degree is not in business. It does not help me there. They require a degree or X number of years experience. So I waltzed in at entry level and then forced my way through by being really good at interviewing and very personable and honestly web searching a lot of stuff when I didn't know what it was. So now I've got ages of experience, which I can usually use to talk my way through. Oh, welcome in, Roblox Girlface! We're just cleaning up some silly Animal Crossing stuff now, because it's also my birthday in Animal Crossing. And I almost forgot! Oh yeah. It's a delightful username, you're right. Okay. Now that we've cleaned up the birthday stuff, we've cleaned up the shore, we've got to go and visit a Captain Island. Ignore these flowers, there's too many of them. Where is it? I hear it. Nope, I'm running away from it. South. It is... No, put that back. You drop that. You drop that this instant, young lady. Where'd it go? Oh, there it went. We located it. Tomorrow, what I'm gonna do is just start, farming Bunny Day things. Because I know there's a lot of them and I'm gonna need them. You know what? I'll write you guys a fears quiz that you'll never get the answers to. Like, you know how some quizzes are like, you can tell? Oh, you know what? I should take a picture of the cute little man. He's new. He's the little man that Twitch made. Since I've got the lighting going. I know you will. You'll take it until you get the right, the quote-unquote right answer. I know you. Okay. See if I can remember my Instagram ways. Oh, goodness gracious! Welcome in! And thank you for the follows! I heard that! Let me just... I'm glad you all enjoy the oof. That is one of my favorite sounds that we make. Welcome in over from YouTube. Where's my buttons? Oh golly. Momo, I can't explain why, but there will be a point where you can go on dates with people. It's not the same as romance exactly, but you totally can at certain points, because the game demands that you do. And in fact, in Cantha, you straight up get to go on a hilarious date. You straight up get to go on a hilarious date where you basically just call up one of your friends. Okay, so here's the thing. You're with a group of people, and two of them are obviously in love with each other, and neither one is really sure what to do, and one of them is definitely not sure how to deal with that. So they're like, I know! We'll invite everyone to dinner, and it'll be great! It'll be so good! It'll be the best time! Definitely. And it's a delight. And you, being you, the commander, go, you know what? This is going to be hilarious. Alright, I'll take a date with. I'll go on this triple date. This is going to be hilarious. And you get to call up one of the people that you know to be like, I'm sorry that you cannot date Pelham. You can write a lot of fanfiction, though. When we get to that triple date, I'll let you guys pick who I go with. It's all the way in Cantha, though, so it'll be a bit. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter whether you're, you can be literally anything, anyone at that point in the story. Roblox delete the oof song in 2022. Rip. Fair enough. We love the oof, though. But I heard body break, so I shall do as chat demands. Glad you guys are enjoying it. We're gonna do some arm push-ups real quick. Yeah. Or wall push-ups, rather. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We did it. Hey, we're allowed to have self-insert ships all we want. I can't tell you how much fanfiction I've written on that subject. Heck yeah! I already have Magnusfic. I can show you. I'll find the folder that it's in on Drive. And I'll find you the good ones so that you don't have to read the ones that I'm not finished with or that were bad. Nope, nothing over there. Oh wait, that's this diggy spot. Dig, 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 dig. Oh wait, can this be eggs? Even on Captain Islands? Darn right! I write a lot. Like, you guys don't get to see it, but I write an absolute ton. Actually, if you guys want, oh, I already know that one? Dang. Let's get out of here, Captain. I do. I would not be surprised to wake up and find your server theme Annabelle themed. We gotta go out to the island real quick. Paradise planning, and then we're done. And then I'll find you guys the fix. I have original stuff kicking around somewhere too. Actually, I have original stuff that I'm really working hard on right now. I'm on draft 2, and it's it's 100k words. Sorry, 120k words. And I'm doing the edits for it. Once I'm finished editing it, I'll put a link in somewhere if you guys want to like beta read it for me. Because I like it. So when I read it, I go through and be like, yes, this is the good scene, the one that I was excited to write. And then I stop and go, yes, this is the scene that I didn't care about, so I didn't write it. It's historically been a problem that I've had where there's a thing that I want to write and you can tell exactly what it is because that's the thing I spend the most time on. It'll be very eloquent, it'll have exciting wording, it'll have cool literary devices, and then there's a thing that I did not want to write. And it was boring. And you can tell. Excellent. I want to go to work. Let's go. The problem with it is that it's written from... I say this is a problem. It isn't. It's written from two separate perspectives. Mark is living in a romance novel. Despite the fact that it is a science fiction book, he is living in a romance novel. He's having a romance novel plot. Callahan is living in a horror book. This is the same book. It's they're great. I promise. Anyway, I can't figure out what I want the core of the story to be, whether I want it to be the romance part or what. But either way, it's still fun. Oh yeah, it's all a sci-fi book. Oh, hanging glowing moss! I was just looking for that. Amazing. Perfect. I love that stuff. It looks so cool. It's the usual stuff, you know. For reasons, there's an apocalypse. Who cares why? It doesn't matter. You get your one person cryogenically frozen from a faraway point in time, and they wake up and go, huh. Well, this isn't right, or what I expected, or anything at all. I don't like this. They get used to how things are, and the people around them get used to them getting used to how things are. It's great. Also, there are zombies. Why wouldn't there be zombies? It's me. You gotta have something fun. Not like zombies. They don't call them that. You can't romance the zombies. Why would you do that? They're infected with a terrible parasite. As one does. Anyway, I'll tell you guys all about it in the Discord if you want. Oh, good golly! Thank you for the follow, Artemog, and welcome in. We're just cleaning up our Animal Crossing chores. No, you can't get a little sick with them, Val. Alright, we hydrate as chat demands. Yeah, I think we're done now. Whoops. I keep bumping my mic because it's in a fun new place. Welcome in, Artemog. We're cleaning up my Animal Crossing chores. Well, let's put that away in the storage. I'm sure everyone knows how to make it, but I've got a bunch of recipes in here to fill up the recipe market. I'm afraid I can't. I'm actually finishing things off for the night. I ended up going over a little bit just to do my chores. I should have been done more than half an hour ago. Whee! But you're welcome to stick around for adventure because we're going on one. For those of you with me on YouTube, that is it for the night. And for those of you with me on Twitch, we're going on an adventure. Where will we go? It is a mystery. We're talking to viewers now. Wah. It is now closing time in the... Yeah, I know, I'm like 40 minutes over. It's now closing time in the aquarium. We hope you enjoyed your visit to the octopus exhibit. I hope you all enjoyed the fact that it was my birthday today. It was very exciting. Let's go see who we're going to visit today. Let's go visit Afe. Yeah! Let's go! Adventure! Me too! Thanks, Sleepy Tea Stars!